There needs to be one of those. It really does. That's what it's missing. Little Jimmy Durante. How y'all doing? Welcome in, all you lovely people. Ted, that's why I sent a message, honey. I said, we're over here turning clocks forward, turning them back. Some of us not doing it. Some of us a half hour. Some I don't know what time it is. Chicago was right about that one thing, and some really good food and pretty decent pizza. I'm a Jersey girl, so I can't really go on the record on that. So here's the deal. Welcome in. We made it another week. Be proud of yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Those of you that were here last week, you made it back. I made it back. And I swear, I don't know what's in this tea, but it's supposed to be a harvesty something or other, but I swear it's cayenne. It's a little hot. It's really, it's potent. It ought to be called wasabi woohoo or something. It's something else. Look at all you lovely people. Thank you for coming in. A little water, a little agua. Everybody take a pause to refresh. And we're back. So tonight we have, I don't know what to expect. You don't know what to expect. We're just putting it out there and going, you know what? Two people getting together. Steve's been telling me, get Katt on. Katt is, I got to tell you something, a wonderful mod. I have wonderful mods. So many wonderful mods in here. If I forget a name or a link or name of a movie or something, you guys are right there. We always sort it out, right? And yeah, that is hot. It's like it's I don't know. I guess it might be the mug because it's in a skull mug. Can you all see that? Very cool. It's a golden skull. It's not a crystal skull, but it is a golden one. Watch me pour tea all over my keyboard. Have be fire and fireworks and stuff. It'd make for good TV, I guess. All right, but yeah, it was potent. But here's the thing. I'm a little stuck, so I'm committed because here's why. The last of the Christmas funny honey is in there. The jar has been scraped. It's been thrown in the trash, in the bin. It's in the bin. And so I got to drink it. And it's something. So there's no telling what's going to happen. So welcome in, Slow. Welcome in, D-Rock. Hey, Scott's Life, how you doing? Listen, anybody that's got a channel right now, YouTube channel, large, small, whatever, I don't care if you're, got 500,000 or you're just starting out. Put your link up here if you're creative, if you're showing what you're doing, getting through your day, if you're doing, I don't care, crocheting, telling ghost stories. We were telling Ted last night in the chat, Ted Branson right here in the chat, everybody, that's Ted, about he likes to sit around the campfire and tell ghost stories. Put a camera. You don't even have to have it on you. You can just have it on the fire. Listen, people pay good money for B-roll like that, just a fire, we use it here all the time. So do that and do your thing, put it out there, tell your stories, tell ghost stories, Ted lives in a wondrous place that has all kinds of things going on. I'll let him tell you, but from, a ghostly coach and four going down the road by his home and so many other things. And he knows wonderful stories. Put it on YouTube, let other people share it, because that's the whole reason, I pushed Steve. When I met Steve, he had already written, I want to say he had 2 books out, maybe 3. And, I said, put them all in, do more. He's, I don't know if I'll do another book. How many is he on now? He's like, Mark Nesbitt and all these other people got 50, 60 books. It's amazing. Get it out there, because you got to share it. You never know who's going to need that whatever information that is in the future. And if you don't write it down, or you don't tell it, or you don't give it a whirl, nobody's going to know. What a sad thing that would be. D-Rock, hello, sweetheart. Hello, Lulubelle. We had fun yesterday, didn't we? Is Yoda Girl here? Yep. We had fun yesterday over on Lee's channel. He was doing some wonderful music. I could not get him for anything. He never does. I throw stuff out there like old Billy Joel, like Captain Jack and Billy the Kid and Italian Restaurant, and that kind of era time. Not this later on stuff where everything gets just I'm talking about everybody's got a time where music takes you back to certain memories and stuff, and that was pretty chill. I think Songs in the Attic was the album. So that one takes me back. But I like the older stuff, and Piano Man's okay, but you hear it, in elevators now. Once it gets in an elevator, kind of loses it. It's it's feel. But we had a good time. So get over there, first floor, over there, Lee. If you're not subscribed, go over there. Hey, support each other. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to give a thumbs up. And I certainly hope everybody, there's 17 people in here right now, and they're coming and going, and they're coming and going. And that's how it goes here. But, lots of people listen later, and that's their timing, So go in there, just sub, hit the thumbs up, and help out channels. So drop those links, mods, for everybody in here. So yeah, we're gonna have Katt on, and she is not in here yet. Katt, if you're out there and you can hear me, you need to pop in here, girl. Hey, Jim's camera, how you doing? Great pictures over there. Again, drop the link, mods, for Jim's YouTube channel. And I'm gonna tell you right now, my throat is on fire. There she is. My throat is on fire. Glenn, wonderful to see you. Scott, I love the videos. I absolutely love the videos. I'm loving what you're doing out there. Heaven hell, man. I mean, absolutely. It's amazing. I mean, here in the near future. Fingers crossed. Hey, girl, you ready to come in? You let me know. You pop in here and give me a thumbs up. I'm going to say hi to everybody and tell them a little bit about what we're doing tonight. So this is what we're doing tonight. No idea. Katt's come on. I'm going to let her tell some tales. I've got some stories over here. We were talking a little bit about some other stuff that we're going to tell you about, and have a good time. Vixen, wonderful. Good to see you, sweetie. I saw Bobby in here, so hello to you, love. I know. Hey, hold on, baby. Here we go. Honey, there's a storm coming. Well, guess what? You in it. How you doing? Let's see. Mew, how you doing, sweetie? And I saw some others. I think I caught everybody. So here's the thing. Let's just talk about some ghosts. Let's talk about some legends. Uncommon Belief, welcome in. Let's talk about some legends and lore and noir, maybe, or just tell a good ghost story. Bring up some. I want to bring in a couple people that keep us going, and you guys might have some favorites there. But before I do that, I want to bring in Katt. Now, y'all know Katt, and I'm going to bring her on and pretty much she's got a bio. It's crazy, but basically, it's just like mine. We're interested in the paranormal and the supernatural and the mystery. We're interested in the things that go bump in the night and the things that are in the woods and portals and missing people and true crime and conspiracy and just talking about all of that kind of stuff. And that's what intrigues us. Going on a ghost hunt, going and talking with others who just, who have wonderful evidence and great stories themselves. And we just keep going and going. I was just talking to Eric via through social media. He had dropped a post about a wonderful ghost story, and I said, man, it's just every time I see something like that, I get just as excited, I think, almost as the first time, because you never get tired of a good story. So let me bring her in. Well, but she went away again. Are you all right, kiddo? Can you get in? You having tech issues? Hang on, let me see if she's sending me messages here in case she needs help. Y'all, somebody tell a joke or start a sing, like a singing round, whatever you call that. It's like your row, row, row your boat, or maybe some nice Nickelback or something. Choo choo. Choo choo you, Ted. Choo choo you. Yeah, we changed our clocks. Here's a native joke on that, on the time change. If you've never seen the meme. And it's a couple of elders kind of laughing to themselves and saying, only these dumb people would cut the top off of a blanket and sew it onto the bottom of the blanket. I think it makes a bigger blanket with the time change. Get it? Kind of crazy. You doing okay, girl? Get in here. Let's see. Let me get you up here. Come here.
Howdy.
What's going on? Hey, sweetie, what's going on? Talk to me. Cathida
I
Gray,
think my
everybody.
doggies
We
got
call
to
her
go back with
we call
that.
her Cat. You're what? They got to go back out?
Well, one of them I think has to go, do
All right.
something else.
Well,
But
all right.
I'm
Well,
gonna grab
go
my
ahead. Go
snacks and
ahead.
my drink,
All
and I'll be
right.
on.
All right.
Okay,
I'll tell you what. I'm going to throw a ghost story up here while you do all that. How about that? Okay.
okay, I'll be quick as I can. I'll see you in a minute.
Oh, don't hurt yourself. All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.
She's crazy. All right. So, there you go, guys. Cat, everybody. There's one of your mods. All right. So we're good here. I'm good there. Tell you what, as bad as I want to, I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish that tea. My throat is on fire. I don't know what they've put in that tea, but I'll tell you what, it's not. It's not for kids, and it's supposed to be apple spice, but no, there's something up with that. That's just not natural. And I can take some hot stuff, guys. It's just that. Wow. All right. So anyway, let me see if I can pull this up. What we were going to do tonight is we were going to do talk about a couple of people that we kind of go to get those quick ghost stories or see ghost vids and stuff like that. So the first one out of my mouth was Nuke's Top 5. So I love his style. Nuke's got a great YouTube channel, and he goes out and people send him videos, and he goes and researches and he finds videos and pictures and stories and tries to get as much behind the scenes information as possible. And if he can't get that, he'll tell you there's no backstory on this, so but here's where you decide. And he's always like, did you see it? Did you see it? So there's been a couple of great little videos that have popped up in uh, Nuke's Top 5, and another one was Slapped Ham, and those were the first two. I think that was out of Kat said too, and then she had a couple I hadn't heard of, and then I mentioned a few that she hadn't heard of. And that's one of the reasons we do this, because you kind of got to pick the one that works, that feels right for you, or that you like that format or that person or the style in which they do it, because a lot of times you'll see the same ghost videos on or TikToks or whatever on several different shows, but it's the style and the way a person does it. So you guys probably know a dozen, 2 dozen that I've never watched or ever heard of. So what's my whole point in this? Here's the deal. I love that there's this amount of information, and I'm dying here. My throat is on fire. I don't know what the hell this is, but the Bengal tiger isn't this strong. This is nuts. So anyway, my eyes are watering. It's tea, folks. It's crazy. So it's the style, and I think it's the integrity too. I mean, a lot of these people, they'll say, look, I didn't do the video, you decide. You have to be the one to look at it. This is what we've got. Nuke will go a little bit further and say, I've looked through the whole YouTube channel. Hey, Aunt Edna, welcome in. I've looked through their YouTube channel. This person really isn't posting any other paranormal stuff, so it would be kind of out of the blue for them to just post something paranormal and then fake it, for attention or whatever. But I assure you that does happen. Now, going through some of these, I wanted to show you one, and I'm still looking for one that was just, it was so good. And I saved it for you, but it's been a week, so it's behind some other stuff. And I'll find it because it was really good. And it was on, a security camera. And the EMT and, cops and everything else were there. And it was happening while that was going on. And it was just kind of intriguing. And if I can find it, I'll show it to you. But some of these other ones are too. So the way Nuke does it is he will dig a little bit, and if he doesn't know, he'll tell you, and he always yields to you to decide, like I said. So let me see if I can pull this up and show you this one. And this one, like I said, is pretty much a nod and a heads up. Hey, Trusty Turnip, welcome in to Nuke's Top 5. And again, you might have a favorite, throw it up there. Who's your go-to for ghost vids, trail cam stuff? That's getting really big. And just ghost photographs and things like that? Are you a TikTok person, Instagram, or do you go to somebody like this or Slaptam? Oh my gosh, I'm not drinking any more of that. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can pull this up. Hang on with me. This one? No. This one? Nope. Nope. We'll get it. Oh, this one's slapped ham. Here we go.
Life as she travels, acts, and sings. But one day she posts a video on her Instagram story that is very out of character. The video is security footage that shows Jimena hanging out at her friend's house in Argentina. Something happens that Jimena says still gives her chills to this day.
Great news! Kohl's clearance just got better because thousands of new markdowns landed. Save up to 70%.
Jimena says she felt something forcibly touch her back. She jumps up and turns around, expecting someone to be there, perhaps playing a prank. There's no one. But did you see it? Well, probably not, because this video looks like it was shot with a potato. But after posting the video to Instagram, Jimena's worried fans pointed out that in the video they see two ghostly hands grabbing at her head and right shoulder. Jimena says that she is shocked and doesn't know what to do other than to just move on and try to forget. Since then, Jimena has never posted anything more about the paranormal. Mimic. Melody Rose from Los Angeles, California is recording a TikTok video about...
Now this one is, hang on. This one is kind of creepy, but you could stand behind somebody and whisper the way this is. It's not snow, not that I know of. I haven't looked out the window here lately, but I saw my friends real close to me here in Pennsylvania were getting snow. So I don't know. We're kind of so close to the ocean. We usually don't, a little further inland, they can get it and we won't get anything. But this one here, I'm going to run it, but just know that somebody could stand behind the camera or whatever. Anything could be done. I'm not saying that all of these couldn't be faked, but it kind of, with the spirit of it, you just kind of want to see it anyway. And I've seen some really good fakes on here. Again, how do you know? But you kind of put it all together, and I think it's about kind of how you feel when you first see it, that first instinct you get off of it. That's what, I kind of go on. And then I'll see a couple other ones where I know they're definitely using an app or they're using a GIF I know I've used in my videos and stuff like that. It's so familiar to me. It just pops right out. But even the people you have to wonder, is everybody in the video in on it? Because they're acting like it's real, but I'm watching them use a fake GIF. So you're never going to know. I think we just kind of watch them for entertainment, but I'll let this one run and you tell me what you think. Nuke's calling it a mimic. Could be really, as Nuke says, an elaborate hoax. You decide. Let's see if I can get it to play again. And again, this is Nuke's Top 5. If you should get over there and subscribe if you're not subscribed. He drops videos maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. But it's totally worth it. And he's a great dude, and he's been doing it a while. So he deserves
perfume when something very strange happens.
Okay, if you're like me and you're looking for a new signature scent that like will have you needing to beat off men, beat off pause, but you know what I mean, like you won't have to beat them.
Poor thing.
Let me rethink this. Basically, everybody will hunt you down and be like, what are you wearing? Because one time I had left the room and this chick followed me and she was like, even though you're no longer in the room, I can still smell you. What is that? Bitch, this. And I keep buying the Discovery sets. One, because they're cheaper. Two, because this brand has so many scents that I'm like, which one do I even love? Like, I don't know. I'm leaning towards the Arabian Tonka. I think that's how you say it.
An unidentified childlike voice can be heard saying, "Hey," and "Melody."
Beat off pause, but you know what? I'm like, which one do I even love? Like, I don't know.
Now, Melody doesn't hear this voice at all and is completely unaware of what she just captured. So she switches to another topic and records another video. But then she hears it.
Okay, first of all, why didn't anyone tell me that if you have... Yeah? My bad. So I forgot. I didn't think about it. I'm home alone. And I thought someone called me and I'm Melody. Maybe it was my cat, and she sounds like a human sometimes. That was you, right? Right?
Someone calls out Melody's name, loud enough that she actually answers back.
Okay, first of all, why didn't anyone tell me that if you have... Yeah?
But then Melody remembers something creepy. She's home alone. She immediately begins to freak out, and the voice calls her name again.
Melody.
Now, equally strange, a creepy hissing or breathing sound can be heard in the audio of her entire recording. So, after posting the video to TikTok, many viewers believe that Melody is dealing with a mimic, a type of entity that copies the voice of its target and their family in an attempt to take over their life. But others believe that it might simply just be a malfunctioning Amazon Alexa. But Melody says that she has no Alexa devices in her home.
Another thing, Alexa, I don't have an Alexa.
So is Melody in danger from a supernatural force? Or is it all just an elaborate hoax? You decide. Scream. Sierra J. Casey, a concerned mother and TikTok user, has been noticing some very strange behavior from her daughter at their Texas home. One day, the toddler comes running out of her bedroom, terrified and refusing to go back. TikTok user Sierra is worried that something might have happened and checks the footage on her Ring nanny cam. What she discovers shocks her to her core.
This is how a typical video editor works.
Hold on.
Oh my.
Look at little girl.
The toddler stands in her room looking around and seemingly confused. Then a loud scream pierces the air, sending the little girl running for mommy. Sierra J. Casey.
Now, what I wanted to tell you, what could that be other than something paranormal or supernatural? I know there's a delay, so I'm going to wait a second. Throw up your ideas what that could be. because the mom, sorry about the clicking on the bottle, I apologize. My throat's like on fire. I feel like I've been poisoned. I don't know what that stuff was, man. I gotta look at the ingredients on the tea. But what could that be via electronics or whatever? She's hearing it on the baby monitor. What do you think? There you go, Ted. That's what I wanted to bring out, because that's why I let it play. Is that exact? Think about that. That can happen. And it's happened a lot. People have heard conversations over them, kind of like almost like a party line. It's picking up. The old CB radios will pick up all over the place. Other things will do this. Gosh, back in the day, and Ed will probably back me on this. People were saying they were picking up the radio and stuff on their fillings and things. So I think anything is possible, but I think this hacking thing is probably a little more prevalent than people would imagine or even think about. Okay, it's just something in case you hear about it in the future. That's something else you got to get off the list. Also, it's something you got to think about having a baby monitor. Can they hack it in? Are you giving somebody access? I mean, understand the equipment if you can. Something to think about. Frequencies, yeah. It could be just picking up, anything. But the fact that it was screaming at the girl like that, and again, entities can use electronics. You never know. And I agree, Glenn. Ghost videos can be, and they are being faked left and right. Absolutely being faked. Right at the same table with you. That's what I'm saying is more not just entertainment, because we enjoy seeing these things, but I think we also enjoy trying to decipher with our filters, is it real or faked? Or, it's just entertainment, just the same we like to hear a good ghost story. With these, it's a whole different kind of senses experience, because you're not just listening to a story, you're watching one. And at the same time, if you were sitting around a campfire hearing a good ghost story, the same would be true. You don't know if it's real. You don't know if the person's making it up. You don't know if it's based a little on history or an actual event, or if somebody just made it up out of thin air. But we still like hearing the stories. So it's kind of on the same level there. There's another one on here. I'm going to skip the rest of this one because he goes through and, talks a little bit about hacking of monitors and things like that too, which I thought was cool. It's definitely good to get the information out there because a lot of things can happen. But let me speed through this one really quick. This one I can't do the ones, I don't know about you guys, not a big fan of the ones where, this one, you want to see her get jerked off the bed? As far as I can see, as far as I can gather, they kind of deserved it. Y'all want to see that one? I'll play it.
Thrown at them. The owners say that most guests get so freaked out that they leave early and often don't even make it through the night. So one night, a group of friends rent out the Hill House just to have a little spooky fun. Now, none of the group are paranormal investigators. In fact, they're not even really believers in the supernatural at all.
Hey, Lynn.
But that is about to change. One member of the group, Victoria, lays down on a bed and jokingly starts to taunt one of the spirits that is said to haunt the house. Needless to say, it did not go well.
As you can see, she was yanked off the bed. This was not a fall. And then they ran out. We're going to rewind that and we're going to show you in regular screen.
Something seems to violently yank Victoria right off the bed as her friends watch in horror. The security camera in the room catches the action as Victoria quickly gets to her feet and the group just makes a run for it. One of the guys is so panicked that he drops his phone and doesn't even stop to pick it up. Now, cut to almost 1 hour later. It's around 3 a.m. and a guy named Drew wants to test out the supposedly paranormal activity for himself. He enters the same room and immediately begins to aggressively taunt the ghost. He says that the spirit is a coward and that if it really wants to attack someone, why doesn't it attack a man?
Same room.
Look at the guy in the white hat right here, guys. Follow him.
Before I can even finish my sentence, I was in the air.
All right, we're gonna pull it back.
I ran right through both of them.
Did you see he got pushed?
So Drew gets his wish. He is violently shoved by something, and then he almost knocks down his two friends as he runs from the room. But it gets even weirder, because as Drew and his friends run out, something seems to yank the door closed behind them. And if you watch closely, you can actually see the doorknob move as if it's being pulled. Now, since these creepy incidents, the Haunted Hill House has gotten national recognition online and through various news outlets. Sean Gigi, a news reporter for local TV station WFAA, goes to the Hill House to interview the owners, Catherine and Edward. But what he doesn't know is that he too is about to have a paranormal experience, all caught by his own news camera.
What was that?
Did you hear that?
In the middle of the interview, we heard something scratching. My microphone didn't pick it up very well, but I'm being completely honest when I tell you I heard it clearly.
And the creepy incidents at the Haunted Hill House just don't seem to stop. Because remember Victoria, who got yanked off the bed by some unseen force? Well, a year after her first terrifying visit, Victoria returned to Hill House again. And this time, something scratched her back so badly that her shirt was soaked in blood. So is the Hill House in Mineral Springs, Texas, one of the most haunted places on Earth? And would you stay overnight and taunt the spirits inside? Let me know down in the comments.
This is why
Well, there you go. And yeah, everything could be fake. A story could be made up. And, you know, people can do all kinds of things with, you know, editing and photo layering. I do it. So I get it. And like I said, I'm eating s'mores, guys. I'm having a campfire fun. I get it. And, you know, like I said, I catch a lot myself when I look at them and I go, oh man, I've used that GIF or that filter myself, you know, and you recognize it. But again, I think there's something to it, because if you think about it, you watch 10 videos, 9 of them are fake. Not one. You have to decipher. So what I wanted to ask you guys is, how do you decipher? Do you watch these at all, or you just don't watch them at all, ever, even when somebody throws one up? Because we have come to the time where, like Steve and I have talked about, and Lynn, jump in here if you want. And I don't know what's happened to Kat. I think she's out walking the dogs or something. But hey, Lynn, if you want to jump in and help us out, we're just talking ghost stories, watching some ghost vids, and I've got
I just come back in. I'm catching my breath. I had to chase that little booger up the road, so I'm sorry.
Okay, take your time. No, take your time. I just want to make sure you're okay, because, you know, if you're having
that little fella's getting fixed as soon as possible.
It's okay, honey. Take your time.
Right there.
So that's what I'm talking about, as far as, you know, why do we watch them, or why do we, you know, still read ghost stories, or do you pick up the book, you know, 10 great ghost stories, or Haunted Tennessee, or, you know, Haunted Battlefields, or whatever. And are you immediately going at it like a paranormal detective and trying naturally to try to filter out the BS? Are you one of those? Because I know I am. You know, if I'm reading a book like that and you're just right out of the gate start lying to me, and I know you are, I'm not going to read it. I've got to believe. If you're telling me it's the truth, I got to believe you. If you're showing me something, you're telling me it's the truth, I have to be able to believe that. You know, if it's just complete. So I get it. But I never want to throw it all out and miss the one. I'm still in it for that one. And yes, it's getting harder. I'm up for it. I'm never going to say, I see this and it looks great. Like the woman with the hands, the first one I showed you. That one's a little harder to fake. None of this is impossible to fake. Believe me, I saw Godzilla eat New York. It looked really real, right? The burning is fine from this tea is finally, my lips were numb. I'll tell you what, be cautious. All teas are, your mileage may vary, but, like Steve said, I have a nice calming lemon tea there. Lemon chamomile. So, that's the thing. I don't ever want to stop watching or stop looking at the videos or stop looking at the photographs, and think everything is fake. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this up for people like Bobby and people that are out there that, if you're tracking me, a lot of the stuff you're going to see coming at you in the future via your televisions, your news channels, and your tickety talks and your Instagrams and stuff, it's going to get harder and harder to tell what's real too. Because I'm going to tell you this as something that I believe with my whole heart, that you are going to see some stuff that's going to be pretty hard to believe, but it's real. And then you're going to see stuff that you hope is fake, and your heart's going to tell you it's real. And then you're going to see a lot of nonsense, kind of like what you've been seeing. So we in the paranormal should be very good at deciphering real life and real BS because we do it all the time. You do it as a paranormal investigator. How many times if you're in a group or you're an investigator, how many times if you had to go into a place and you totally believe the people or whatever situation you were being told or whatever historical facts you were being told, whatever, and you go into a place and you slowly start to realize that this place is rigged, and it's rigged to get attention, it's rigged to sell tickets for whatever reason. I remember a Ghost Hunters early, I was probably, I want to say within the first 3 seasons of Ghost Hunters, when they were kind of still like, hey, we're plumbers and we got an emergency ghost call. I think we should go take this one. That time. I think I was like the first maybe 3 seasons and they quit doing that. They really were plumbers, by the way. But so they go into a place, and I believe it was the Blue Lady. It was a hotel. It was on the sea. And it had the history of, I think somebody was dating a gangster and he caught her cheating or some kind of thing happened, or he was cheating, wanted to get rid of her, one of those things. And she winds up getting killed, and she's kind of dressed in a blue flapper dress with a cute little matching hat and all that, walking up and down the beach. So that's the history of the place. But the people who took it over rigged everything. So when you went in the bathroom, you'd look in the mirror and a face from behind the mirror would flash. Set up like a Halloween trick, whatever. They used a hologram at one point, which is, again, very simple to do. You've seen all kinds of Halloween decorations and ghost projections on sheets, and gosh, now they've got them to where you could, do faces on pumpkins and all kinds of things on your window, and it almost looks like they're coming down the hallway, the hallway coming right at you. It's getting harder and harder to discern because this stuff looks real. I think sometimes all you can do is to tell that it's, not real, or to know that it's a hologram, is because you're expecting it, because it's Halloween and the house is decorated, or you're at a party, or, you're walking down the street and they're decorating for Halloween, or you're going to a haunted house. If you saw that in just, hey, you're looking to buy a house and, the realtor's walking you through and you see some ghost go gliding across the balcony, it could be one of those projection things, but you're not expecting it, so it's going to scare the pants off you. Hey, girl, are you all right? Kathida Gray, everybody. She's having a night. I don't know if you heard it.
Which one is the boy one?
I don't know if you heard anything I said, but welcome in, honey. And but what I'm talking about right now is ghost videos. Why do we watch them? Why do we watch the pictures? Why do we listen to the stories? Why do we enjoy it so much when there's so many things out there that can be faked and we know it, but we still watch them because I think we have fun trying to decide that. What do you think about that? Were you here for my tea thing? I think I was poisoned.
Yes. What are you?
I
You
don't
didn't have
know.
to
It was
learn the
some kind.
hard stuff now.
I know. I know.
But
And
no,
the
ghosts
last time I
and stuff
funny
like
honey too, I
that.
couldn't do it. I think it was
I've
some kind of
always liked
kayak.
it.
I don't know what.
I mean, my
But
favorite
go ahead. Tell
cartoon
me
I
what you
loved
think.
was Scooby Doo. So ever since I was a little
Hmm.
bitty girl, I've always liked it, and the mystery of it, figuring it out. Like I like trivia and stuff, so you can't kind of put them both together and try to solve it or debunk it. And I sit and watch them all the time. That's all I ever watched, really. So it's always on YouTube. Ghost
And that
stories.
was one of yours too, Nuke. Right? Nuke's top 5.
That's
Been
one
around
of the
forever.
very first ones I subscribed to, and Callan from Slapped Ham. They're both
Yeah.
funny. I mean, Callan
Yeah.
though, he's more out there. He's really funny. He
He
needs
is.
what
He
did he
is.
say? Fresh pants, please, or something
Yeah.
when he gets
He's
scared.
something. He's fun.
Yeah.
I think it was this. Was it this one? No, wait a minute. I'm looking again because I had another one. But what I would like to hear now, I'd like to pause for a second and hear a little bit about you now. I didn't read out your whole bio, but you're just like me. Mysteries, legends, lore, grabbing stories from wherever you lived and where you grew up. Myself, I got to pick up a little bit from the Jersey Shore and the boardwalk stories and the bootlegging and the moon wreckers and and all these wonderful buildings and stuff. That's our oldest stuff, other than Revolutionary War things, because they don't count other than, Indians were here. You know what I mean? It's like nothing happened until after, you know what I mean? The settlers came. But
and then the land could be cursed, and you better look out.
so true. But as far as buildings and things like this, I've talked to Simon Entwistle about this, about, he's where he lives in Lancashire, his castle's 1300, 1200. I mean, just the deep, rich history, things that are still there that you can touch, stone walls and buildings. And it's amazing. Pubs, for Pete's sakes, they go back hundreds and hundreds of years. Whereas here, it's where I'm at, New Jersey. All right. So for those of you who don't realize it, it's, right there in New York and New Jersey, you've got the whole East Coast there. You go into Virginia, you got Virginia Beach and all the way down to Florida, all the way down. You got Georgia, all that. So I'm right there in that small little place that's halfway between New York City and Atlantic City on the shore. I mean, just going back to the all the ships that came through there, you can stand on the ocean and look at the waves and think, how many other people stood here and stared out the same horizon, watch the same sunrise. It's amazing. Yeah.
And
So
even like women would wait on their betrothed and beloved to come back, and maybe they never did, and they would do a certain thing on the cliff where they they were gone.
So much emotion, and I think that's part of it. You hear all the stuff about especially going all through New England, all Maine and New Hampshire, all the widow walks, and so much about the ships and basically people. It's a living, it's a way of life, which is kind of a little bit different. You're not just putting food on the table, you're doing it. You did it, your dad did it, your granddaddy probably did it, just like the coal mines in West Virginia. And I mean, everything's got a culture and a history and a place. And you come from, your thing is a lot of the Appalachian, just like Steve Stockton, who we all know and love. And that is such a rich part of that. Now, as growing up, did you have were you saturated with people who understood this and just welcomed the stories and the legends and the superstitions and things like that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Growing up, I was kind of a nosy kid. Listening to what was going on, because go over there, go play, go to your room. Well, I wanted to know why. Why was I being sent away or told to go play or something? And sometimes I would hear people talking about some ghost stories, and I was very curious. And my mama would talk about certain things. My mom's mom, she claimed to see blue orbs that would just float in front of her window back and forth. And she lived on normal land. It wasn't methane gas or anything like that. I don't believe. And my Uncle Richard, he would talk about ghost stories and things. And so a lot of stories are passed down, of course, legend or lore. And I lived in a 2-story haunted house. That place was absolutely haunted. So many things happened there. My boyfriend's name's Mike. Well, years ago when I was a kid and I lived in this 2-story house growing up, me and my sister, we would hear a door slam. We'd hear somebody walking. It was like a boot, then a thump, boot, and a thump. And it would go up the stairs, go back and forth once or twice, and that'd be it. Years later, Mike's Aunt Ruth told me, well, everybody knew that place was haunted. There was a makeshift doctor that used to live there and cut off legs and stuff. So I'm assuming that's what I heard was a peg leg, fake leg, wooden leg. And I was like, what?
Absolutely, because as soon as you said that, that's what I was, that's a peg leg, that's a limp of some sort like that, it's amazing what you can hear and tell what you're hearing. I mean, some of us moms and things like that, we'll hear something drop. That was a quarter. Somebody dropped a quarter. You can tell by the sound, or a Bic lighter, or you can tell a pen. Just different things like that. You just know it. Or somebody will call you on the phone to a trained ear, and I'm telling you what, phone calls I'd get in the past, and they'd go, well, I'm such and such. I'm like, no, you're not. You're in a public restroom. I can hear the echo. Where are you? You know what I mean? Or, you're not where you say you are, because I can hear in the background, I can hear cars going,
say when you hear things,
it's not matching up. I mean, just that's easy, but the sound. So when you're hearing steps, you hear it a lot in ghost stories. It's like, I could tell it was a man walking in boots, a heavy man walking in boots. It was a woman in high heels. It was a such and such, That's
certain
interesting.
Details that people just don't think of. That's what I pick up on, certain details.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to get up and think, well, I'll just make this up today. But those certain details, that has to come from experience. So I think.
Well, yes. And that's why it's so hard. And that's why it's important. That's why you and I got together and said, hey, we're going to, this is what some of the things that we watch. But I think it's another reason too. It's not just that we're entertained. It's not just that we're doing the things that you said, where we're debunking everyone. Oh no, that's fake. I'm just and fast forward to the next one and just like I said, I can't stand the ones where the dudes are walking through the deep dark tunnel. For what are you doing this for? These abandoned places, and they're cursing in their language the whole time, because there are certain cultures that believe that cursing at the thing, I forget where it is the best protection.
Korea,
right?
or somewhere maybe?
I think so. And then there's a Middle Eastern one, I believe, where they're praying the whole time, and they're just praying faster and faster and faster because they're getting scared, but they're still going in. They're still following. Those things get my adrenaline going. I'm like, I can't watch this. Show me the end. Show me what happens, and I'll move on, because it just build up. But it's fun.
Some of the favorite guys that I like, they have made it on television, but they've never looked for fame or anything like that. And one is he's ordained. He's a preacher man, a priest or whatever. He can get the holy water and go through the house. It's they were Foreman 04. They lost the password or something to the YouTube channel, so they come out with the name Living Dead Paranormal. They have Chasing Evil.
Okay, I know who you mean.
Paranormal Nightmare. Wait, it's Paranormal Nightmares or Nightmare? There's both, but I can't. I think theirs is not Paranormal Nightmare. It's 3 brothers. They were haunted as children, and they also like figuring out mysteries and stuff. So the Chasing Evil series, they try to go out and get EVPs to see what people's names they might be able to capture in relation to a crime that was committed, and whatever they find, they turn over to willing police that would be willing to hear such things, like when they would bring in psychics or something, And then the Paranormal Nightmare is more of a home base for families and stuff, because they know what it was like, and they want to help people because they understand. They went through similar ordeals, children. But one of the cases was very sad. There was 2 or 3 brothers that are still missing, I think, to this day. And they thought that they had found them. They're looking for scrap clothing out in the woods. They didn't want to give up. They wanted to find those brothers. And
Oh man.
sadly, they didn't. But they're really
Sad.
good guys.
Yeah.
They want families. And stuff.
That's it
Really
too. I
like
think
that.
we start to get favorites. I like the way these people investigate. I like the way this guy edits and produces and puts together, like say Nuke. Nuke, is what, look, I don't know them all, but from what I know of, Nuke is one of the top. He's so good because he's got it all. He's got it all. He's not telling you he knows. He's saying, this is what I was able to find out. You have to decide, did you see it? All that. And it's so, again, I agree, what everything we were talking about in the beginning, anything can be faked. So if anything can be faked, why are we watching anything? Why are we listening to ghost stories? There's got to be a reason. And it's not just the intrigue. It's all of these things. It's all these things. And it keeps you sharp. It's like doing paranormal push-ups. It keeps you sharp because you have to be able to discern if you're going to go help, or you're going to go into, like I said, with Ghost Hunters walks in and they go into the place. And I forget where, I think it was Seacrest in Maine. I think that's where it was. I know it was a fishing town. And they go in and they're investigating. And this is the original guys, and they go in and everything is a setup. They even go up in the attic and find out that they've got a mechanism that's making the chandelier swing back and forth. They got the face in the mirror at the bathroom. They've got something else.
Guys have speakers in the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. They've got the holograms. They've got holograms. I mean, I can put holograms now, on your garage door, out your window, or wherever. But it's just everything has gotten to that point. So what do we do? Do we throw it all out, or do we keep investigating? Do we keep listening to stories? We keep, like you said, getting those details out that make that difference, that tell us and able to discern, better. With TikTok and all that, and people trying to get hits and followers and influence TikTok. Believe me, TikTok, I'm going to tell you something. If you don't know it, that is absolutely a tool being used to influence, and not in the way you think, because they actually pick somebody, give them a bunch of followers, get them jacked up, and then feed them information to put out there. It's just another outlet, to get your brain where they want it to be. Know that for sure. But go ahead.
Like that too. You can see,
and it works.
Through the years, I mean, you can see when something catches on. It's a fad. Oh, it's a certain style they use for hauntings, and then it'll dissipate. It goes away.
Yes, so true.
I mean, you're like, okay, this is fake. Everybody's jumping on and doing the same thing. So
the same little fad, yeah. And there's a lot of equipment, and that's a big thing. That's a big thing, all the different equipment, and I love it. And I know some great people that are just so smart in their field and the type of equipment they work with, like Ron Iacovetti and Lourdes. They're doing a lot of communication through. It's like a white noise almost of radio, and it's much deeper. I don't want to do it injustice. But, and then you'll have people that go out in teams, and all these wonderful teams, and everything's got different elements. I saw one the other day, and I don't want to misstate their name, and I'm trying to get them on, so you get introduced to them. But they were doing a whole thing out there in Florida, and wonderful. And these are like doctors that got together and have investigative team, and it's wonderful to see those minds in there trying to decipher and how they go about it. And I've seen everything from rescue mediums to to the Kling brothers. Oh yeah, I love that. Don't you love that?
Everything. Most things paranormal or supernatural. I'm not too big on UFO stuff, but I do. I watch that too. Started out, I loved shows on Egypt and archaeology. I mean. And it turned into the crime.
History. Interesting.
Forensic files and New Detectives. I've seen every one of those 3 times each. But
So
always
interested, so
about the
interested.
ghosts. I love the ghost stories.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going
Um,
to do. I'm going to go back and forth, and I'm going to put, like, you picked one. We both picked Nuke's Top 5. We both picked Slap Cam. And then you mentioned one that I had never heard of. So there was just a couple of videos I wanted to show in this, and then I figured we'll talk. You can tell a couple of your favorite stories. Then I'll play a couple more, watch a couple more videos, and I have one at the end I want to get your opinion on. That's a Ghostly Encounters, and it's a really good one. And it has a little bit of the elements that we like. It's got detail. It's got a calm, what I would say, in my opinion, a calm reacting person that's able to decipher what's going on at a level that just I was just so proud of her, because I was like, wow, that's a great way of looking at it. And it's odd that somebody that doesn't do what we do all the time, always in this, would have that, because she wasn't. She was just able to look at it from her point of view and go, wow, I'm going to look into this, and and I think that's just such a wonderful experience. A lot of these people, because some people just run and that's it. And it's a demon. It's this, it's that. And you don't know, like, how many stories have we looked at that if you jumped in the beginning, we could have had it wrong. How many on this show and how many others, Steve's, everything, even with missing people, same thing applies. Oh,
yeah,
it
Steve's
must
got
have been.
scary stories.
Yeah. But even with missing human beings, if you
Oh,
get the facts
yeah.
wrong, or if you jump on the wrong fact, right? The whole thing can go astray. So let me grab this one here. Do you want to tell a story? You want to watch a little video and tell a story after? Which one do you want to do?
I just have a little quick story. I might forget
Go
it.
Go ahead, sweetheart.
My mind's always.
Oh, tell it. Tell it.
You probably know the story of how the mail meter came into existence. The
Say
man
again.
whose daughter, the mail meter.
I don't know anything about it.
Ghost hunters use it. It's a little gray box.
Go ahead. Yes, now I know what you mean. Yes, baby, now I know what you mean. Go ahead.
I forget his name. I know it, but I'm afraid I'll mispronounce it. Anyway, his daughter was close to home, and she wrecked and sadly didn't survive. And her name was like Melanie, Melody, and he was trying to communicate with her. And the what you call them, EVPs and things like that, EMFs. It detects EMFs, electromagnetic fields. And so when he was trying to design a product or something to help him along in contacting her, he designed this mail meter, and that's what they're using. All of them use it. But it's like, the stronger they say the closer the ghost is, the higher that it goes up to. It will go up in like, I think it's from green to red, or green, orange, red.
Like
an
EMF meter, yeah.
That's the stronger the field is that they're detecting.
It's kind of, you almost imagine them leaning in and going, and making it go, because with any of that, even like a theremin for the living. Think about that. Have you ever saw the musical instrument, the theremin, where you can get in there and you can actually change it by how you get close to it and changing the bending the bar and all this other stuff. But it's affected by your energy.
It's almost like amazing. The homemade voice boxes, or the kind of like a little radio. They tweak those and do this and that until they start picking up stuff, and then
it's all energy, baby.
They get tuned in, boy. They are tuned in. They get some wild stuff. You'll get names. They'll ask how many's here. You get direct responses, intelligent responses. Wow. I want one of those.
Yeah. I've been in a room, not to, I want you to finish your story, but all these different equipment was reacting not only to more than one piece of equipment, reacting to what seemed like was the same entity, the same ghost. All right. And then others at the same time reacting to other ghosts that were in the room. They picked something. And then when I was in Gettysburg, the first time when I said that I went and interacted with those entities that were kind of ready to talk to me, and then hanging with the other ones that were kind of in a loop kind of thing. they knew that equipment because when I laid it down, you didn't have to tell them how to use it. The dowsing rods would cross and uncross, like, okay, we got your yes. Here's your yes.
Old tool,
Yeah. And then the EMF would go up and go back down. The flashlight would go on and off. And whatever else people were putting down there, they would just add that to the mix. And it was like you never had to tell them. So if you go into a place, guys, where there's been a lot of investigations, they very well might be very in tune with that equipment and do something like that. I mean, now you can use those little touch activated cat toys or whatever, where the balls light up or the bear moves or the
bears, yeah,
the music box plays or whatever your taste is. There's something for everything. And the Berries have a lot of that equipment in Gettysburg Ghost Exchange and the Hoover House and the Berries on Facebook. If you're looking for any equipment, they're constantly inventing new equipment that's more sensitive and more user friendly and, for the living and the dead. But so I get to see a lot of that. But the astonishing thing is how quickly the ghost realizes what they can do with the equipment. If you recall an old thing we did on In Search Of, when they were going out in the 70s, out in the graveyard and trying with all this different equipment. Remember that? They were using all the different energies to make all the stuff go. It's mind blowing,
I love
and anything to use energy.
Abraham Lincoln, where you're whispering in his ear. I mean, that is just
telling him a tale.
Priceless.
I'm glad you like. I'm glad you like it.
Been talking about,
Yeah, I was telling it, girl. I told him everything.
That you love Gettysburg more than any place on earth. Just like you feel at home there.
Yeah. I told him everything. He couldn't wait to get rid of me. I said, "Do you know what they're doing? Let me."
Just right there, right on his ear. I mean, I was like, I love that picture. That was the perfect thing to do with that statue, I think.
It's so funny. It's like I'm telling it all. And I said, look, man, because you go there and everything comes into perspective. You stand there and I'm like, oh God, these stupid humans. Stupid humans.
Yeah, you actually get to see the
no way are we doing it again. No.
Know how much torment and suffering went on there.
Nope. It's already bought and paid for. Quit. We just need to get rid of the evil. It's spiritual warfare. And that's something before we end this I want to talk to you about, because I'm thinking about doing, I don't know how many people know about the subject I'm going to bring up, but like I said, I'm starting a Rumble channel too, and I'm slowly able to put a couple of things up there to kind of establish a base. And the whole reason for that is because they're not I know me. I've seen me do it. I am not going to be able to keep my mouth shut much longer. So I'm going to have to say, look, we're going to have to go over to Rumble and follow me over there, because this is going to go off, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that's coming, and there's no way I'm going to sit here and have knowledge and have things that might be able to help you, or, whether it's a lard candle to keep your house warm, right, Ted? But, everybody might not know that. If your lights go out, a can of Crisco with a taper candle in that sucker will burn and put off warmth in your house. And I can tell you how to get that warmth, elevated. I've had neighbors
big soup can
freeze to death, so the littlest thing, if it eases your pain and makes your day better and makes it happy, and we're going to get through all this together. But there's information I have to get out to you that I can't really do here. So go to the Rumble channel. If anybody's in the chat, some can grab a link to my YouTube channel, Ted, throw it up there. Please go over and subscribe. And if you don't know how to fiddle with Rumble, look, it's simple. I'm going to have a couple of mods in here that are ready to aid you in that and walk you through how to set it up. It's if you did a YouTube, you could do a Rumble, and you might say, I don't want another app on my phone. Okay, don't put it on your phone. Put it on your laptop or whatever, because there's going to be some shows, okay, that I'm going to have to say, look, different guests and things like that, because people have a lot of wisdom to give out, and a lot of people are getting shut off on that on YouTube, and I just don't believe that should be happening. So you got to go someplace where we can have our right to free speech and our right to share information. And like Nuke's top 5, you decide. Might not be for everybody.
I was dropping your Rumble link, and 2 or 3 other people.
You got it, baby. You got one of my best mods on my screen right now. So, but and I've got great ones in the chat. You guys are doing a great job.
I need a link. I've got a link.
We've got links, baby. She's a link, my link lady. But
I've got like 50, and then every time I get a new one disappears. I'm like, where did it go? I have to go get that again. And I just need
yeah. It's not easy, man. I've modded for many channels, and I mean some big, big whompers, and it's not easy. But here's the thing. Please do that with Rumble. That is very important. Very important. Get over there, subscribe, because if we have a guest, and I'm going to start talking to guests that we're going to have on, and we're going to give like an hour, 2 hour, whatever, and then maybe, and I'm never going to charge you for it. I don't do that. Plus, I don't have the time to edit through and go, okay, this is for members and this isn't. No, I'm not going to do that. Information is free. If you want to help me out, get a t-shirt, get a mug, get stickers, if that's your thing, so you can have something for it, or put a thank you in the chat, super chat, or you can do it after the fact, or you can go to my PayPal. You can do any of those things, or you can share it. You can share it with a friend, and you can hit the thumbs up. Not all that's free. So and just support us. Thank you for being here. Important thing is to be here, to absorb the information, to give information, to add your information in the chat, and let's tribe through this together. Right, Kat? Go ahead, sweetie.
The follow-up video to my short, the only video on my channel so far. Okay, I was sick. It was delayed. I have everything ready to go. I have the script. The holdup is fair use images, which I'm pretty sure the ones I sent you. I did send you a few. They're sent them to your messenger. It's got a picture of the home, the lady and her mother. For some reason, I could not find the one that's supposed to be of the man and woman on their wedding day, but I'm not.
Okay, let me see if I can get those downloaded while you're telling. So now, do you have a favorite story before we jump to this video while I'm downloading these? A favorite story from where you grew up, or in your hometown, or in your area? Like I said, around me, it's all Revolutionary War. It's,
growing up in that 2-story house, they were so wicked. Now I do have a event that happened when I was a kid, but now for a story, okay, Mike's aunt also had told me as an adult that she was mentioning a rocking chair, and the old style, they have like a big curved spot on the sides of them. They have like little holes in the backs, kind of like vented little holes and stuff. Kind of like a wheelchair.
Okay.
And I said, well, there wasn't a wheelchair there. We never saw a wheelchair or a rocking chair, but my sister saw an old man in some kind of rocking chair, wheelchair like thing. His eyes were red. She could only see him when it was lightning. It was a real bad storm outside. And I think his legs were covered up with a blanket or something. I mean, poof, under the covers, she's gone. I'm like, what's the matter with you? Stop it. And she tells me what she sees over there. I'm like, I don't see anything. She saw it, and I didn't see it. But, what an electric blanket is. In the South, people would have an electric blanket, and we'd cover up with them. Keep warm. Well, my mom had one on our bed, and I've had kind of like bad vision since I was a little bitty kid. And I got to turn up my electric blanket, and there's like this see-through hand, all except for veins and capillaries. And my dial starts turning up.
Oh!
Under the covers I go. I'm there for the rest of the night. I don't even know if I even slept that night. I don't know.
Oh.
But you're afraid to even breathe as a kid. I mean, you about passed out from holding your breath because you're afraid something's going to get
doorknob. Just to turn in doorknob, or to have your radio turn and change, and you see the dial move. I think that's even freakier than just having it change, because when you can see it, there's a video, and I've played it on the show before, where it's an older gentleman, and he lives in this little second floor, is where his bedroom is. And it's got the old windows where you have to kind of lift the latch and you push out, and it's on like an elbow hinge, and you can see the hinge go up and the window push out.
Video.
You know what I mean?
Like,
and he's got the camera
like
on it
or something. It's a white. It's black and white.
Yep.
And it looks like a pipe off the ground. Yes, that thing, you can hear it goes floop, clicks up, drops down. Like
And see,
something
that I
was-
believe. I
I
have
have
no
some-
problem believing that. And I've got no vibes off of it that shows to me any kind of, I'm not feeling any, how you would say, like you would see a magician. That's the way I kind of describe it. Like when you go to see
smoke
a
and mirrors.
magician,
Yeah.
you're not, you know that he's fooling you and you're trying to figure out how he's doing the trick,
I
right?
don't see how that.
But you get a feeling off of that if you're an intuitive that they're not up to, it's not an evil thing, but they're trying to trick you. So some of these people, like you'll get a video and it's like, I'm just doing it to make, to do a joke, right? Or, you know, or it clicks or whatever. You get a certain feeling off of those. And then you get the ones where they're really plotting and planning and setting up. It's a whole different feeling. I don't know how anybody else feels it. And then
People
you've
believe
got
in
the ones,
angels and miracles and things
Mhm.
of that. So
It's
why
all
can't there
filters.
be something else a little devious instead of religious?
Mhm.
It all
And it's
comes
also,
all in the same bag to me, you know.
it's also, like
Good
I
and
said,
bad.
paranormal push-ups. You know, the more you exercise your paranormal abilities, whatever they may be, your supernatural, your natural stuff, but not just that, it's your discernment with the paranormal and true crime and these things, the better and the sharper you get. You know, the more you play chess, the better you're going to get at it, you know, but it also helps you in other aspects of your life. And I think it sounds so weird to say these nukes top 5, these slapped ham, these whatever are doing that, but I think it's a quick way to do that because you get so many in a short amount of time.
Some people also think it could be like interdimensional, you know, like a time slip or something. And
Oh yeah,
there's
there's
a
that too.
hole in the fabric, you know, and something's bleeding out into our world and ours maybe into theirs.
Absolutely, and that's something that a lot of people are starting to understand now and kind of get, you know,
Portals.
because
and-
I'm hearing it more from a lot of different people about the time slip, and that's something we've been talking about on this show for a long time. Because Steve and I did one, I think it was time slips, portals, bleed overs, and things like that. I mean, back when we first started doing the radio together, and so. All right, let's see if I can pull up a slapped ham here. I think it's this one. I think it is. Is that Callan? There he is.
Ellen from Slapped Ham.
Yep.
Phew.
If you don't know Callan from Slapped Ham, yeah, he does a lot of cute. I don't know. Some people think it's annoying, and he's a gamer. But here's the deal: he does a good job.
How you doing? I'm Cal.
Yes, I've watched him for years. He's
About
thorough.
some of the most
He's,
mysterious video clips that are trending on socials
he doesn't really
right
change it
now.
up or anything.
So hit that
No, he did
subscribe
change his
button and get
background
ready for more
eventually.
mysterious
but
content.
He's not a
Just like
fad.
this.
He's into the stuff. Now he goes live on Halloween. If you saw some of those, he goes live on those shows, and he was
Reddit
pretty
user
tipsy
known
on
as
one.
Dystopia321 has shared an unsettling photograph that's
I'm
shocked
gonna
the
get me some
online
water. I'll be right back.
community.
I've had enough coffee.
Deploying a trail camera in the woods with the intention of capturing images of local wildlife, the OP unwittingly captured something far more unsettling. The incident occurred late at night in the dense woods, with the trail cam owner maintaining that no human presence was near the camera when the eerie image was captured. The photograph shows an unnaturally tall and lanky entity with glowing wide eyes. Whatever it is, it's reminiscent of the mythical creature known as the Rake. The trail camera, triggered by motion, unexpectedly revealed this mysterious being, leaving online users baffled and uneasy. So what do you think it is? Is it just a trespasser, or is it something a little more sinister?
Now that would call for some fresh pins.
The
Imagine
video
seeing that out
posted
there
by Reddit
camping.
user Suhid Jadav has brought attention to an incident that unfolded in a school in Pune, India. Take a look. The video depicts a chaotic scene as students and staff desperately try to restrain a girl, ensuring her safety and preventing harm to herself and others. In a particularly terrifying moment, the girl appears to levitate, her body contorting in an unsettling manner. The OP suggested in their post that the girl might be possessed by a demon. Having seen the footage, what do you think? Love to hear your theories on this one in the comments down below.
I'm eating s'mores. I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys believe that or not, but how are they going to fake that? I'm watching the face of the guy who looks like he's the oldest one there, maybe the teacher in the red shirt, maybe, or, you know, supervisor, whatever. I don't know how you feel. What do you think about that one, Kat?
Whether they know David Copperfield, they have him right in his pocket, or something's going on. You know, I mean, that's wild.
That's true, right? I mean, if you go back, listen real quick. I want everybody to look at the guy's face.
It looks
in
like
the
a
dark
schoolroom,
shirt.
a classroom.
Yeah, it does. Or lunchroom or something, yeah. And obviously a type of school where they're wearing uniforms.
Having seen the footage,
Look at the
what
guy,
do
the
you
older
think?
guy's
Love to hear
face.
your theories on this one in the comments down below.
He has no idea what to do. He's in complete. And something else I would not like to point out is this guy's a really good friend. This other guy who keeps
A
keeps
Facebook
mentioning
post
her.
by
That's really something else. But that's a good
You
friend,
probably
right?
saw the video. There's a boy, one or two boys. They're in like an empty schoolhouse somewhere, and right before the bell rings, I mean, it's an abandoned school, but it's I forget what you call it. The bell will ring, and the town goes to pray. They have to book it to go pray. They hear that bell alarm, but right when they're, they're looking around with the camera, and right before that sound goes off, they capture somebody walking towards them and without a head. You remember that video? It's in, like, I don't know if it's Dubai or it's Middle East somewhere. Maybe Afghanistan or somewhere, but it's two boys, I believe. They're just walking around an abandoned school. The room's completely empty. You can see the windows. It's daytime. And the bell sounds, and as they're sweeping to, oh, we got to go, and they're going to put the camera down or in the video. From the corner, something's walking towards them. It's the exact same quality of video as everything surrounding them. Not like it's been cut out and put in there, It, the pixels and everything look the same, but it's coming towards them and there's no head. And that's an older one. And how they would have faked that, I have no clue, but it's cool. Come on, Chippy. You're muted.
Here's another. I'm like a kid
There
in a
you go.
candy store with these things
You're
because
muted.
again, Prose is here talking about he had an experience. He's 7 when he was 7 years old, and he's been looking ever since. Same with me. Same with Steve. Look how old, Steve was a little, like 6. I was like 5.
Saw that little boy fall down.
And it follows you all your life, because you keep looking for, show me something, tell me a story, let me discern, let me decipher that, let me take it apart, let me put it back together, let me be amazed by it. That's just what we do,
Scary,
but here's a fun
memorable.
one. I'm not sure what this one is, but we'll give it a shot real quick, and I have another good little ghost story to show you guys, because again, this is why we watch Callan. It's why we watch Slapped Ham, man. It's a trip. I think that's right. I'm not doing too bad tonight with the
It
text.
has a video almost every day.
Sleepwalking, also known as somnambulism, is
here
a
it comes.
behavior disorder that originates during deep sleep and results in walking or performing other complex behaviors while asleep. Because a sleepwalker typically remains in a deep state throughout the episode, they may be difficult to awaken and will probably not remember the incident. In this clip uploaded to TikTok by Alexander the Titan, we see a sleepwalker in action.
It isn't paranormal, but it's creepy. Imagine if you
It's a
did
little
this.
after 3 in the morning. He soon begins to talk inaudibly before fiddling with the blinds.
Is this guy sleepwalking?
He
I've
then
seen this,
heads
but I
It's so
can't-
creepy.
outside
Yeah,
where
it's
something
creepy, though.
eerie happens.
I'm so glad.
And I think he's got his phone on in his pocket, the light. I think that's
Strangely, the man notes that he didn't go to bed in the sweater that we see him dressed in throughout the video. While the sight of the sleepwalking man is rather eerie, it seems that this video might also have a paranormal twist.
Watch.
In fact, in the description, the man mentions that he moved out of his last apartment because he thought it was haunted.
I think that
If
kitchen
you watch
drawer is
closely,
something. I
at
might be
about the
zoomed in just a little too
15-second
much.
mark in the video, what appears to be an empty water bottle can be seen moving, seemingly all by itself.
The wind chimes on the right side of the door there. Something's moving.
there's something else going on here.
At the same time, a mysterious
cause
light ascends into the sky,
sleepwalking.
and the decoration on the wall by the door begins to swing back and
Could
forth.
be a partial possession or anything like that. Just
Yep.
taking him over.
Look at this.
Could it be that this possible paranormal behavior is somehow linked to the man's sleepwalking habits? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, if you're a sleepwalker yourself, let me know if you've done anything creepy while asleep.
It's almost like I think it's bells or something there was moving to like maybe get his
Hanging on the
attention to
wall.
go to it, drawing him towards the door.
That's
But for
crazy.
what?
Let's see what's next.
In February 2020,
Oh, yeah, I
Redditor
love that
revered
house.
A lot of
Transcendence and his
history from
wife
his old
attended a
shows,
ghost
ghost
tour
stories and
in
stuff.
Williamsburg,
A lot of history
Virginia.
that they
While reviewing the
learned a
photos
lot from.
afterwards, the poster found an anomaly in one of the images that wasn't easily
I love looking at
explained.
haunted photographs.
Mhm.
You know, like the ones with
He
the
believes the
hand on
mysterious
the
figure
shoulder, but there's
might
no
be a
body.
paranormal
I love
entity
looking
for
at that old
several
photos like that.
reasons.
It's like Pennsylvania
Firstly,
almost.
no one could have been in front of him when the photo was taken, as all tour participants were behind a rope barrier. Secondly, he believes the anomaly couldn't be a shadow, as
Old
none were
colonial
apparent
style
in any other
building.
photos
Looks
taken at the time, and no one was standing behind the narrator with a light that could have projected one. The poster also assures that the photo hasn't been doctored for attention or likes, and that he's now sharing the image on Reddit to get others' thoughts and feedback. Gazing at
I
the
saw
figure
a,
itself, it looks dark and
story,
shadowy and
it
appears
might
to
have been
be
on
missing
Facebook.
its head.
There was a real estate property up for
Williamsburg,
sale.
Virginia, with its
and
rich
got
history dating
contacts.
back
The
to
people
colonial
is
times,
like,
is known for its numerous ghost
who's the ghost
stories
grandma in the
and its
window?
popular
They
destination.
took the picture down.
I'm
But
sorry.
he still has he has a copy of it. There was a person that saw a property in a real estate on a real estate site or a book or something, and the house on the property that was for sale has like a ghostly image. He assumed it was a grandma. He contacted the real estate company and asked who the grandma ghost was in the picture.
Uh-huh.
They got rid of the picture. They took the picture down.
Let's take the picture down.
He's got a screenshot of it still. Yeah.
Wow. You know,
So
again,
really,
I've
it
seen
was
some in some states, they almost promote it like, okay, it's haunted, because it'll sell nowadays. But 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it would have had the opposite effect. It's amazing how things have changed, and they'll probably swing back the other way too, or something. Who knows? Who knows where it'll go?
I
I'm
have a
hoping I'm
little
here to
something
see it.
about that wrote down. I wrote it down last week, which I knew about it, but in some states they have to disclose if the house is supposedly haunted. They have to tell you.
And or if something happened on the property, but in most states where that's on the books, it's only if you ask. There's a little loophole in there that the buyer has to ask. They don't have to put it out front. There's only, I think, 2 states where you have to put it right out front. So it's, you know what I mean? It's not as strong as you think. You have to ask them. It's like, is anybody ever murdered here? Is anybody ever, is it haunted? And then they have to say, well, there's been some stories. All right, I'm going to play this out and then we'll take a quick break.
ghost tours.
Okay, I'm gonna look for that.
One of the
What
most
I wrote down
well-known
was
ghost
they
tours
can't go
is
back
the
on their
Williamsburg
word about it either or something. I wrote it
Appalachian
down.
That house.
Peyton Randolph House.
Oh, I love
The
the
ghost
color.
is believed to be
Look
that
at
of Anne Randolph, who fell from the balcony of the house in the 18th century. Visitors to the house have reported seeing a figure in white on the balcony or hearing the sound of a woman crying. Another ghost tale involves the
Want the
public jail,
house.
one of the oldest prisons in
Yes.
America.
Got enough
It's said to be
fireplaces, you think?
haunted by
Probably
the
kitchen,
spirits of
bedroom.
prisoners who are held and often executed there. Reports include hearing the clanging of chains, seeing shadowy figures, and feeling a cold
Look at that. Can
presence.
you imagine being locked in that?
The old Bruton Parish
I wonder what that
Church,
was for, like
established in
food storage or
1674, is also said to be haunted. Parishioners and visitors have reported seeing ghostly members of the congregation attending services or walking through the graveyard at night. One ghost reportedly seen frequently is that
I've
of a
always
former
wanted to go do
rector
the
of the
rubbings on
church,
stones,
Reverend
headstones and
Roland
stuff.
Jones.
My dad's mom, she was into
The College
genealogy, and
of
I believe she
William
done a
and
little bit of
Mary, the
that.
second oldest institution of
Her
higher
records
learning
and
in the
stuff.
United States, also has its share of ghostly tales. One of the most famous is the story of the phantom dog that roams the campus. The dog, believed to be the spirit of a pet buried nearby, is said to guide lost students back to their dormitories.
That's interesting.
While it's unclear exactly where in Williamsburg these creepy photos were
Williamsburg,
captured,
that's
it
close.
seems that they might serve to add to the city's reputation of one of the most haunted in Virginia.
I don't know. I tend that one looks real to me, but then again,
The
easily fake.
Takuchi Camera is a
You're never gonna know.
self-described psychic YouTuber who visits
All
many
right, those
creepy
are the ones that
locations.
freak me
In
out.
this
So
video, he checks
we'll
out
cut
an
it right
old
there.
abandoned village.
Because usually they'll go through, and the whole time it's just so anxiety ridden because as they're walking through, they're cursing and they're praying, and it's just like I can't really stand a lot of that repetitious stuff. That's why I can't. I have a very hard time with the white noise stuff because I can't stand that. It just eats my brain out. I can't do it. And it's nothing against anybody who uses that or does that or relies on that. I can take it in short pile. But I don't know how people sit there and listen to that for an hour because I just want to chew my own arm off.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
It'll
Mess with you, baby. Did you find it? Tell us.
Yep. It's called the Ghostbuster Ruling. In 1991, the New York Supreme Court Appellate Division that held that a house which the owner has previously advertised to the public as haunted by ghosts legally was haunted for the purpose of an action for recession brought by a subsequent purchaser of the house. Because of its unique holding, the case has been frequently in textbooks, contracts, property law, and widely taught in U.S. law school classes, and is often cited by other courts. And the term I was trying to think of is estopped, where they can't go back on their word.
Okay.
Something happened, they can't go back and say, "Oh, I didn't tell you it was haunted." They have proof of it. It's upheld in court. They can't go back on it.
I know the first house that they had to do that when it came out of New York. It was
I have
one of the
name
first
written
court
down somewhere.
cases. Yep, where they had to, the judge had based the house legally haunted. It was the first time that ever happened. I did a whole show on paranormal in court. It's crazy.
Ruling after the Strombosky and Ackley house case. Ackley House and Strombosky.
Yep, Strombosky. Yeah.
1991. They call it the Ghostbuster Ruling.
Yep, ain't that something? And the judge actually had to sit there and, you can imagine people taking it as a joke because we see it every Halloween. You'll see the local news team is like, "Oh, we're going to send Timothy into the local haunted house to come back with his little story. Ooh, he's so brave," and all this other stuff. They play on it and they have that kind of joking manner behind it. You're going to get that a lot. And then you have people that this is so serious. It's not a game. We know it. We're on this end of it. And we can look at the whole thing and say, isn't it amazing how so-called the outside world views the paranormal when they don't even realize they're in it. They're in it, whether they believe it or not. It's like, gravity or anything else. It's just always...
Like it says, someone has previously advertised to the public that a house is haunted. was haunted for the purpose of an action for recession brought by a subsequent purchaser. Meaning, if they didn't disclose that, the courts aren't saying, yeah, we believe that there's ghosts. There's a lot of woo-woo. They're saying that we're in agreement that you claim the house is supposedly haunted for whatever reason. There's something going on to make these
Something
people
going
not
on.
want to buy it.
And how many people, you know, decided it was so haunted that they had to run away from it and lost money that they put into it? I mean, that's the number one thing when people are asked, you know, why didn't you leave? I'm
That's
looking for
almost
a
every
video.
episode of The Haunting. They always
You know,
move.
financial, but and some that just say, forget it, we're going to go, you know, live with mom or do whatever it was, you know,
Ruins a
to
lot
get
of
out
them
of here.
financially.
Left it all. It's left it all behind.
Some of them can't afford to move, and they have to do whatever they can to make peace, appease the spirits or whatever.
I made y'all a new ghost video, and I'm looking through all my videos and I can't find it. That's why you see me looking up here. I know you can't see what I'm looking at, but that's what I'm doing. I'm digging. I hate it when I hide videos from myself. I know it's here.
You can send stuff to yourself on Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got so much on there, it's hard to find what I'm looking for.
I know. And I was just looking through. I didn't see where you sent me any pictures. So if you want to send them again, I'll be glad to look. But all the stuff is just us talking. So you send it to mine?
Yeah, your Facebook Messenger.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll look again once you throw them down again. They'll be right there. I know I have this. It's right. It should be right here. It's just mixed in with so much stuff. Oh, is that it? Oh, that's not it.
Just a second.
Do.
My daughter's telling me a Messenger to look at the chat.
Look at the chat. Look at the chat. You handle the chat, and I'm going to look for this thing. I'm going to find this son of a gun.
Did anybody see anything from girl
Here
named
we go.
Shanna?
Got it.
Oh, you found them? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's like 3 or 4.
I'll just pull it, and then I'll stop it. All right, go ahead. What do you tell me? Somebody's doing what?
I think my daughter's talking to me in chat somewhere here. I don't know how long ago it was.
Okay, hold on one sec. And you said who to look for, Shanna?
Shanna.
Guys, do you see it?
It may have been way up in here. Let me see what time the message is.
I'm not seeing it, sweetie. Ask her what she needs. Or tell her to send it again so we can see it. All right, I'm going to play this little ghost vid. And if you need to contact her or something, please do. It's not a problem. Do what you need to do. And I'm going to check through the chat and throw some of these stories up here. But basically, this is our friends over at the wonderful friends in Canada who did this great show called Ghostly Encounters. And I found one I don't think we've seen. And I love her take on how she tells it. I love the fact that there's a history to it. And I like how she handled it. And of course, this is after the fact. You know, we don't have, you know, was she like losing it? You know, did she go running into the library and go, I need to know what's going on in my house? Show me the history. Of course, she's all calm telling it now. It's after the fact. But you can kind of look at her demeanor and how she was looking at it. And I believe her approach was a little bit different. And I think that's why she got the results she got, and her understanding and her demeanor and the way she looks back at the story as, you know, an experience, not only where she's feeling bad for the ghosts themselves, but how she did it while it was going on. I find it very unusual. And I love this because this is about where we should be when something like this happens. And it's so hard, you know, because you turn around, there's somebody standing there that wasn't there before. It's very hard to process that, let alone hold your composure and try to understand process what's going on. It's just blows my mind when people can do that, because look at how many shows you watch now where, okay, Get Haunted. I used to watch it so much and I knew what was going to happen. You know, they all go walking in and I know all the stories. They fake this, they fake that, whatever. They did it. It was entertaining. It was fun. They go in and it's like, you show us that you're here. You show us that you're here. And then it goes boom and they go screaming out. How many times do you see that? So the average person is going to be very hard for them to hold their composure in their kitchen when, you know, the cabinet doors are flying, you know, and they're standing there, what do you know, instead of screaming, what do you want? Who are you? It's like, All right, stop it. Don't waste your energy doing that. What do you need? There's a pen and a paper. Here's on the counter. Write out what you want, Stop all this nonsense or get out. If you don't want to communicate, you just want to show off, there's other places to do that. So it's just a whole different way of having a ghost experience. And I think this is pretty cool. Are you ready, honey? This is a good story.
From beyond the grave.
Yeah.
Kirsten suspects the ghostly activity is related to her presence. But what she doesn't realize is just how violent and how brutal that activity is.
When I moved into the house with my mom, everything was normal. It was a good time. I had left a really bad relationship, so it was kind of a time of healing for me. My son was only about 10 months old. We were sharing a bedroom, and it was quiet for a long time, just normal. And then one night, out of the blue, we started hearing noises coming from downstairs. It was focused underneath my bedroom where I was sleeping at the time. It was the bedroom below there. And it was really loud, booming, dragging, like as if you're pushing a dresser across the floor, and you know how loud that can be. And it was like that, but a constant, like not just one, but like drag, 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 boom, boom, constant loud noises. So you're going, God, what? It needs to stop down there, because it was for about an hour every night. And we kind of initially were like, what's going on down there? Because the lady who lived downstairs at the time, she was in her late 60s. She was an ex-nun. She was very quiet. And we were thinking, what is she doing down there at this hour of night? So for one night, it wasn't a big deal. But then it started happening every other night, and it was loud, and it would go on for at least an hour until we got to the point where I thought, we really need to ask her what's going on down there, because it was bothersome. One night in the summer, we were upstairs watching TV, and it was the regular 11 to 12 time frame, and the noises started downstairs, and it was thunderous. And I went out, and I'm like, Mom, do you hear that? And she's like, yeah, it's really, really loud. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go downstairs and see if she's awake. I went downstairs, and I went outside, and I circled the whole perimeter of the house. I was more scared of what was happening in my house than I was of what could be outside. And I'm looking in her windows for any sign of life, a light, movement, something that would tell me that she was awake. And I thought, if she's awake, I can talk to her. And I went around the whole house, and it was pitch black. Not a movement, not a sound. Downstairs the next day, and I said to her, what's going on down there every night? What are you doing 11 and 12, night? And she looked at me very strangely, and she said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, it sounds like you're moving furniture all around the room. There's something going on. What are you doing? She said, Kirsten, I'm in bed by 9:30 every night. I haven't heard anything. What do you mean? And at that point, I'm just kind of like, what? Something's happening here. She's not doing it. I thought, how am I going to deal with this? There's so many emotions going through your head. Who is it? What's happening? How do I make it go away? I wasn't frightened when I went around the house. I was more frightened when I got back in and realized that it wasn't her. It's something else. Well, I moved back to Halifax not long after that happened. And I stayed for about, 6 months, and then I decided to come home for good. So when I came back home, the lady downstairs was moving out, and I decided to take the apartment because it was perfect for me, where I was going to work, my mother could babysit. It was just, I didn't give any thought to the things that had happened downstairs. Until we were all on the step one afternoon, and my neighbor from across the street, Miriam, she came over and we were talking about what had happened. And then Miriam said very matter-of-factly, well, maybe it's the people that were murdered in your house. And we all went, what? Collective gasp, and everybody's jaw dropped because we had no idea. And she's like, oh, you didn't know? We're like, no. And so she told us that in the late 70s, 2 people were murdered in my bedroom. I believe that there's energy attached to anywhere where something bad happened. And I think it stays for maybe forever.
I'm going to go a step further and say I think this is a unique case in the way of she lived above it and heard it as a child, right, Kat? And then she's out there. First of all, you're out there walking around outside trying to figure out what's going on. It's pretty brave. I mean, I've seen many of people do this. I've done it myself. And when you're doing it, you're just not thinking about it. You're trying to figure it all out. I know it sounds wild that somebody would do this, but we've all done it. We're just like, what is that sound? What's going on? We're not watching it from, the 40,000 foot view. We're watching it now from,
you idiot. Like a scary movie. Don't go out there.
But, now that we know so much about energies and connections and what the dead have with us and what energy they might connect into. Here's this old lady that's sleeping through all this so-called furniture moving sounds and the banging and everything. She said she's asleep at 9:30, but this young girl is hearing it as a young teen. I would say she is, right? And the first time, Kat, she was like a young teenager. She seemed,
she wasn't.
Yeah, or late middle school, something. But again, she's
more afraid of what's going on in the house than she is outside.
Yeah, exactly. And she's got this fresh, young energy as well. So it's possible too that they're pulling energy to manifest these sounds from the sleeping woman, probably as well as this young girl. I'm going to say that when she went back, they recognized that energy. And now she's down there with them.
Maybe physical energy, but I think it's like energy of the mind too, the power of the mind, suggestion, and I think
right. And there really would be no barrier between them and her if she's upstairs or downstairs. I tell people that in the apartments all the time. When you're renting apartments, you're all renting together. In everything that ever went on in every single building, all over and outside the grounds, the whole thing. But there's so much energy coming in and out all the time. That's a lot of energy being dispersed into those cubicles that become a building. You know what I mean? It's so much energy.
It could latch onto you and walk right up in through your front door too.
Right. But I think they recognized her, and I think it's going to give them extra energy. But I don't know. Let's see. You ready? Let's finish it out.
Ghosts supposedly can remember too.
Yes. I'm telling you. They connect into it, especially when they recognize it.
There's a constant feeling in my house of being watched all the time. You're never alone. You're in the kitchen, you get that feeling in the back of your neck and someone's in the room with you. And most of the time it's okay. I'll be like, it's a little uncomfortable, but you just, you work with it and you just go about, doing what you're doing. But it's unnerving. To understand, in my house, it's all hardwood floors. So every step you make, you can hear it. It's very creaky, very loud. It's a really old house. So one night when I went to bed, I could hear someone walking into my room. It was very clear, distinct footsteps, creak, 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 creak. I could see a very distinct figure of a man. I can't see through him. He's solid black, but featureless. I think maybe in his case, he doesn't want me to see him. It's more terrifying to me to not be able to see the face. And he was leaning right over my bed, and he was whispering, just a constant, chatter in my ear. He was close enough. Almost if I'd reached out, I could have touched him, but I didn't do that. There was no way I was going to do that. You don't really know what to think because you're frightened and you're kind of paralyzed almost because you don't really know how to react or what to do. And I closed my eyes and waited for him to go. And then when I opened them, he was gone. And all of a sudden, off to the corner, I could hear a man and a woman talking to each other. Just a peaceful, quiet conversation in the corner of my room. It wasn't anything scary, just two voices in the darkness. And it was a muffled sound, kind of like, you know, how you can hear someone in the apartment next to you, but you can't really make out what they're saying. And it only lasted about 5 or 10 minutes, and then it was gone. So I wasn't really scared. They weren't frightening. They aren't frightening spirits at all. It's the other spirit. He is, I don't know how else to describe him, but evil and dark and menacing.
The ghostly activity in Kirsten's apartment seems to be increasing. However, our expert Patty Allen believes things are not that simple. It may be the case that the ghostly activity has remained the same, but what has changed is Kirsten's ability to perceive it. Like any sense, the ability to perceive the spirit realm improves with use. But Kirsten's new insight is a mixed blessing because her experiences are about to get far more frightening.
One night, I was getting ready for bed. I had been, you know, I washed my face and did all this stuff. It was very quiet. My little boy was in bed sleeping. And I was taking some garbage out to the porch. It's around that corner. I can't stand there. When I stand in that corner, I feel cold. I feel sick to my stomach. I feel awful. And so I put the garbage on the porch, and I came back in. And when I rounded the corner, there was a man right there in my kitchen. He terrified me. I couldn't breathe. Everything, if I had been holding on to anything, it would have shattered to the ground because it was one of those moments where you're not expecting someone to be there, and then bam, there they are. And I couldn't see a face. It was just like when it was upstairs. And so I put the garbage on the porch, and I came back in. And when I rounded the corner, it was an immediate feeling of menace and evil and dark. And it's so instantaneous, it's hard to make someone understand, you know, if they've never been through it, how you get a feeling of someone instantly. He wanted to scare me. Because he frightened me so badly, I almost banged into him. You know, I ran at the corner and he was right there, and I just was like, oh my God. And I recoiled, and I was holding my chest because he terrified me. And I think then he just vanished into thin air like he hadn't even been there. And that was frightening. I couldn't even breathe. Couldn't think straight. I was scared, you know? And that's the first time he had done that. I think he lives to intimidate me. I think that he thrives on my fear. And I think maybe that's what got his attention, because when I first came to the house, I was broken. You know, my spirit was crushed. And so I was trying to heal, and I think maybe he recognized that and, you know, fed on it, because they thrive on your energy. That's how they exist. And so I think that maybe my fear is what drew him to me initially, and then my strength is what made him angry. My son went to his father's for a weekend, so I was alone in the house. And it was the middle of the night. woke up and I couldn't move. It's like something is on your chest, on your whole body, and your arms are pinned down, so you're almost like this. And you can't move. And it's really terrifying because you feel so vulnerable and helpless. You can't be more vulnerable than when you're in bed at night by yourself and you're looking around and you can see everything and your senses are alive and you can smell and think and, you know, but you cannot move. When negative things happen in my house, I know who's responsible. And when the male spirit gets angry, it affects me physically. It's not even like it's him on top of you. It's almost like he's controlling you. It's hard to describe it. It's like there's a presence, you feel it, it's menacing, it's evil. He doesn't like you, and he's going to show you. And it lasts for quite a while. It's a lot longer than when they appear at your bed and whisper in your ear. This is something altogether different. It's pretty frightening. And I think he knew that. That's what he wanted. I'm a writer, so one day my editor asked me to do a story on the Ghost Walk tour in the north end of our city. When I was doing it, he said, you know, do you have any stories of your own that we could incorporate, Kirsten? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've got some stories. I decided to go to the library to do some research and find out what exactly had happened. And I found out that 2 people were murdered in my bedroom, that they had been set on fire and left to die.
You never know what you're dealing with.
I'm a writer, so my editor asked me, you know, do you have any stories of your own? I decided to go to the library to do some research.
Matter of
find out what
fact.
exactly had happened. And I found out that in April of 1976, a woman had moved in there. She had left her abusive ex-boyfriend and she was starting over. And so she moved downstairs and she had someone living upstairs. One night, there was a very bad argument with her and her current boyfriend and an ex-boyfriend. And it was very heated and very loud, and apparently the lady upstairs heard this. But she didn't think anything of it because it quieted down and he went home and that was the end of it. Everybody went to bed. Well, later that night, he came back to the house and set fire to the bedroom. Unfortunately, they didn't escape and they died there. When I found out about the murders, it made sense to me that what would you do if you were caught in a burning room? You would go for the windows. You would try to get out the door. Anything you could do to escape and live. I had the impression that he stood in that corner when he murdered them, that he set the room on fire, and then he came and he stood in that corner to make sure they couldn't get out of the room. He just stood there and he listened to them scream, listened to them try to get out as they burned. What kind of person does that? That's a person you should be scared of in life. You should be scared of him in the spirit world too. When you live with this kind of thing every day, you get used to it, and it's just part of the house. It's part of the history. It's part of your life. And you either leave and don't accept it, or stay and try to coexist with them peacefully.
No, honey, that's not what you do, but lovely to
Many
hear.
psychic investigators believe the violent nature of a murder makes it more likely that the dead have not moved on. Some also believe victims can share a spiritual link with their murderer, much like the reputed eternal bonds between lovers or soulmates. Maybe then, any deep connection increases the possibility spirits will remain in our world, and a negative connection increases the chance that ghostly activity will be hostile. Kirsten's experience shows the power some connections hold for those involved. In this case, a brutal crime immortalizes an evil murderer and damns his 2 young victims to relive their deaths forever.
I always felt okay with the afterlife. I believe that there's something out there for all of us after we die. Absolutely, I do. And these people are trapped here. And it makes me really sad for them. See, I have to try to find compassion. Even if I find it scary or frightening, imagine what it's like for them, you know, to be trapped there for 30, 40 years, reliving the same thing over and over, unable to find peace, unable to be reunited with their loved ones. It's sad. So I think I have a deeper understanding now.
Wow. Wow.
Seems
What are
very
your thoughts?
genuine. I
Huh?
think she's very genuine. I love that
Yeah.
network too. They always have some
Oh
good
gosh.
shows on there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And there's quite a few that come out of Canada that are handled very similar, and there's one that's very similar to our old sightings. You know, the reenactments and stuff done the same way. This is wonderful. This is a great show,
Wow.
and I love the people and their take and their vantage point and hers. You know, I kind of said, no, you don't have to stay there and just, you know, because I understand that staying there and living there in that environment, it's not good for her. It's not good for, you know, the victims, the two victims, and it's definitely, not good to leave just him
It's
go
almost like
willy-nilly, you know. So yeah, that has to be all sorted. And you shouldn't live in those conditions. I mean, you just shouldn't put yourself, your body, your psyche, your soul through that, because it also invites other things. Eventually, these almost like a portal kind of forms. And I'm not using the right vernacular there, but what I mean is it draws other spirits. So you might not get an actual physical portal, but it's similar because it's drawing in other spirits. I mean, you got wayward spirits wandering all the time, and they say, hey, what's going on over there? You know, they're drawn, and now you've got that involved. So it has to be sorted. You have to figure out, okay, is this a residual? Is the guy, you know, the killer, the one that haunted? He didn't die there, you know. Is his impression just there so much because that's such an emotional burst of pain and agony
something
and
is attached
hate?
to him, an evil entity or something held to him, and that's
Maybe they're
what's
replaying it, but it seems like he's the one that's interacting.
maybe they're projecting his energy from whatever they're drawing in, you know, or
Incredible. Isn't
energy
it
that may have
incredible?
had possession over on him. And she's a female, and that energy's coming at her because, like
Yeah.
the lady perceived, he was watching, making sure that they weren't going to live to tell about it, you know. And he's down on
And
her.
for
like
her
she's
to
one of the
just,
victims.
yeah, and for her to just, you know, to discern that, like, I just know that this guy stood in that corner and probably held them back. Now, why they couldn't get out, I couldn't tell you. That, I mean, I've got questions. You know, why couldn't they get out? They're on the first floor. Were there bars on the door, the windows? Because those are supposed to have a safety latch that you hit to get out. You know, I mean, that's illegal to have. Supposedly illegal to have the ones that don't do that. There's one thing, but did he stand there and hold them back? Did he knock them out? Were they knocked out? You know, she's putting this together from what she's seen and what she's comfortable at this point thinking happened. You know, we're guessing at this time, but in order for all that to happen, it could very well be him. He's drawn back because it was such a big thing in his life. Maybe he's passed on and this is just where he's drawn back to. Who knows? There's so much to this. A lot of questions.
Like names and the places and stuff. I have went and tried to look it up and see reports on the case, like witnesses say that they claimed that they heard screaming prior to the blaze. You know, I want to see the actual, see what was going on.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there had to be some screaming.
There's definitely a story there,
the
kid.
auction was burned up or something, and they couldn't scream, but maybe it was like an auction. They passed
There's
out.
more to it. There's more to it, but the sad part is, you know, again, it happened. She's there. She's trying to sort what to do. The thing I want to point out is, me personally, in my opinion, I would say that the worst thing you could do is just, okay, well, this happened here and it's just something I have to live with. No, you don't want to sleep in a house like that. You don't know what's drawing energy off you. You don't want to live with an entity like this. You want to clean your house out and stop the cycle. So you go get reputable help of someone who would do that. And again, it's not just me making decisions for other people. They have free will. You know, you got to take the bartender stance. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, you go in there and everybody's got to cross over. Look, you don't want to cross. I'm just telling you, giving you the information in case you want to later, you know, because what's it going to be? Another 200-300 years before somebody else comes along to talk to you to remind you of this? So you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So you absolutely have the right to do that, clean out your house, because you don't live with that kind of stuff. And if you could get those people passed on, great.
My house now.
That's my opinion.
They say lights out, ghosts. No, when I go to bed,
yeah, because ghosts aren't pets, and if honey, if they are suffering over and over and over again, why would you want that to continue? Why would you say you wanted to live with that?
Affects their mind, their sleep, their
It's not healthy for anybody.
No.
And that's how again, some people are fine with leaving things as they are, and I respect that, but most of the people I know go into a place like that and just like, let's go out. Everybody's got to get sorted.
It would drive me nuts wanting the ghost to come back to understand what they're trying to tell me. What's he saying? He said he was down in her face. She said he was down in her face chatting. She could hear the couple talking. He must have been hiding somewhere, and they were just having a casual conversation. You would think. And then they go to bed, and
he sets a room on fire and kills them. Takes a special kind of, and that's definitely going to put out an amazing amount of bad energy, and all of that's true. And it could very well be, if it wasn't for her saying that this thing is interacting with her, that's an intelligent haunting. There's no to it. That's not a time slip. That's not her thinking about him and drawing him in. He's hanging around with the victims.
Just didn't happen that one night. It was building and building and building.
Doesn't work that way. Yeah, there's some odd things that happen, but that it doesn't work that way. I've seen some crazy stuff. I've seen ghosts in the same room that don't see each other, and because they're not on the same vibration, and they can't, even though they're looking for each other. And that's just, once you see something like that, you just like, wow, that's so big, so much bigger. There's something else, So all you can really do is try to calm them as much as possible, and get them to understand, look, this is what's happened. This is your power. You don't have to stay here. He can't hold you here. I don't hear anything that's telling me that that's what's happening, that his ghost is holding these entities back. She didn't tell me there was a whole lot of interaction between the three.
Was he holding him there? I didn't know that it was maybe of the murderer at the time. I thought maybe it's like a dark entity. You hear they keep other spirits trapped in the house.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That happens. But it's almost like when she was describing it, it was a feeling she had because of how he was, and that he was like a corner stander, like he was an observer, and and then he did other things too, as far as interacting with her. And she didn't say that he only came around when they were around. It was almost like they were separate of each other, but she put them together. Does that make sense? They were separate. The events were separate of each other, but she put them together, and she's like, I think this is this guy. But again, you look at the whole thing and how the paranormal works.
Like two different things,
It could, yeah, it absolutely could. It could be that the energy of that murder and their suffering lured something else that was negative, could have been a killer or somebody that enjoyed stuff like that. And she just put it together. We don't know, but it's an interesting case. And I loved her take on it. I liked the fact that she was picking up on the energies. I was broken. I was going through something. It picked up on that, and I was broken, and that's when it attacked me. And then when I got stronger, it got angry at me because it wasn't able to feed on me anymore because I was stronger. So she's got this whole relationship going on with this. You know what I mean? And I just don't think it's healthy. That's something that I wanted to say tonight about showing you all the little things, like the little girl hears the scream, and the mom hears the scream over the baby monitor. Stop and think, is it getting hacked? First thing, it's coming undone, because I don't know if it's a person doing it, which is creepy, or somebody dead doing it, which is creepy, So you want to sort that, but rethink that. And also think about all the other things that we saw in discerning the TikToks and the videos and stuff. And and maybe just kick back and enjoy them. And if you see one that really sticks out and shows you something, like the one Katt and I mentioned about the guy with the window opening and how it just lifted, he's like amazed, and you can feel that. Don't be afraid to use your instincts. You've got to use your instincts first, because this is a wild, churned up world right now. Energies are off the chain. I'm telling you, crazy has gone up to 11, and I think it's got a couple of plus. You know, it's got some booster in there.
Room to
There's
grow. There's still some notches to go.
There's more crazy coming. So I just want you to realize how good you guys are at discerning a situation and understanding the paranormal supernatural world is going to help you out understand what's going on the outside, because honey, that's spiritual warfare out there. We're involved in it whether you know it or not, and it's been going on a while. And before we leave tonight, Cathida, I'm going to have you back again, honey, and you know, I'm sorry I couldn't get the pictures and stuff, my fault on the tech, but I thought we had a good time just visiting and stuff too, and talking about this, because I think it's important. And I want everybody to know that I'm probably, when I get a couple more people over there at the Rumble, because I think this one will probably do it for me here if I do it right. But everybody here is probably familiar with the wonderful Art Bell, right? Yeah, everybody knows Art Bell. Thank God Art Bell was there. He was our friend in the night. And whether he was talking about, like Cathida and I were saying, you know, UFOs, I'd listen, but I'd stay for the ghost stories, or I'd stay for the haunted whatevers, or the most haunted castle in Britain, or whoever those people were, you were there. And I can go back to my sons being little and listening to Art Bell and aliens, and that was his thing, the aliens. And he taught me what I knew back then, and with little stuff I was picking up. But again, nevertheless, wonderful. But he'd go off on other things too that were amazing and very intriguing. The Mel's Hole stuff, the sound of the screaming, supposedly coming out of the depths of hell, that the hole in Russia they found, that was a totally different deal. Hold on, I'm getting messages. Oh, sending me photos. And all the different stuff, just missing people, it could be anything, and Art did it great. And we were talking about it in the chat. I think it was on one of my shows. I think it was on the Simon Entwistle chat, and we were talking about the difference between Art and anybody else or whatever. And I said, I was trying to explain it, that when you were listening to Art and when he was going and he was flowing, it's like floating. You could lay there and you could listen. It was like the questions and the music and the bumper music and everything, just the way it was handled. You could even put up with the commercials because you knew you were going back to that world, whether you were driving or whatever. And some of the best conversations he had was with somebody named Father Malachi Martin. And if you are familiar with the conversations that he had with Father Malachi Martin, then you're probably familiar with some of the things that they discuss very deeply over many nights, ranging in the 1997, 98, 99 kind of years there, a little longer. I don't know if you've ever read any books that Father Martin wrote, or you heard any of the conspiracy about the Jesuits or this or that, or things he did before or things he may not have done. There's been a lot of controversy. But if you're that far with me, if you're still tracking me and you're with me and you understand what I'm talking about, then you know that there was a deep discussion between Art and Malachi on the secrets of Fatima and what happened within the church and what information was given and what wasn't, and who could give what information and how. And that information is what I'm talking about. I don't care about what happened after or before, because you can take that information and you can match it up to so many things that are currently going on. And within that information is also all the keys for getting through all that and be like Art Bell and float through. And the only way to do that is to have the knowledge. And people don't want you to have the knowledge, which is why we're going to rumble. Eventually.
Rumble. Let's get ready to rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble. Because I think I'm going to do an extensive dig on that and bring it to you. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's like I say all the time. Kat, you're with me on this. Listen, I would rather walk with somebody that has been in the darkness, got through it, and got back on their feet with some knowledge and mix that experience, yes, and that knowledge and those scars and stand with those people. And sometimes we have to go back and look at it because within the information they don't want you to hear. That's what I want to know.
They don't know, or there's a reason they're hiding it, and neither's good.
And you discern for yourself, you know. But I want to be able to go, did you see it? Just like Nuke. And this is the biggest of our lives. And you can look around, you can feel it, you know it. You know something's going on, you know. And we know the answer to it. It's so simple. You know, light wins. And I was talking to a young man in another chat the other night, and some of you were in there with me. And I said, look, power through. Whatever it is, power through. 1 minute, 1 day, you know, 1 hour, whatever. Pick one foot in front of the other, or whatever you have to do to get it. Next thing, we're all doing it. And then we meet here. And we reignite those lights by looking at some crazy stuff that other people go, what do you mean you're looking at ghost videos and discerning through that? And that's helping you. Look, sometimes it helps me get through my Monday because I'm going to keep exercising that muscle. I'm going to keep looking at these things, and I'm going to be entertained along the way. Come with me. Because we've seen the dark. We're not afraid of the dark. We see it. We know.
Have our own BS meter, so we can.
Yeah. And we know how to walk through it. And if you're interested, come with me on the Art Bell Malachi Martin dig. It's like I said, it's not going to be for everybody, and we're not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to let them tell you. You know, if you do know anything about Malachi Martin, if your thing is, if you've dug into the Miracle of Fatima, you know about the secrets revealed and the ones that weren't, and what's come out after. Please email me journeythroughthegate@gmail.com if that's your thing, because it's a pretty deep dive, and this has got to be right, just like JFK and all of that. So please do let me know what you know, what you think. Huh?
Is that the CD
Say it
in the
again?
sky? Is that the CD in the sky?
What are you talking about?
I thought you said it. Like the Fatima Morgana, or there's something like that.
Fatima. There was the Mother Mary appeared.
Okay.
And gave secrets, and there's been prophecy and all this other stuff and things that happened. And I've been talking about it for a couple of years, and I've sat down. I remember I can't remember, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. I started talking to people about it, and I remember having a conversation with Bill Bean and some other people. And that's when we were talking about this, a lot of intuitives. We kind of got together, and people were slowly realizing that more than one person was having this dream of this, almost like it revealed itself in the same way, a dark fog crawling over you. It was almost like looking at a Google Earth and seeing Earth, and you could just see a black, almost like a misty blob just encasing. You could see it growing like a mold, and that's what we were seeing. And we got together, and we started talking about things that, you know, whether it was the Hopi prophecies or it was this, you know, wherever you get your prophecies from, they were all matching up. And I got news for you. It's like you don't even realize it, but I've been talking to some pretty wise people on this, and it's like, dude, we're like halfway through it. You know what I mean? It's crazy to think of it that way. But instead of thinking of, oh my gosh, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming, honey, it's here. And you've been in it. You got this far. So you're doing something right. You see what I mean? Think about it that way. Because a lot of times I hear people, what do you mean spiritual warfare? I'm like, you can't see it. You can't see people. Like The Stand, Cathida. Did you ever read The Stand? I don't even want to talk about Huh? The movie? Did you see the movie or did you see that miniseries with it? Was Molly Ringwald in it? Okay. So I know which version you saw.
I think
So,
it had the coach guy in it. What's his name?
The who?
It had the guy that played on Coach, the coach.
Gosh, I don't remember.
I believe it was the miniseries, made for TV series, I believe.
Yeah, so you had Molly Ringwald and what's his name? Gary Sinise. It was so many people in that. Yeah. So basically the story is the people, you know how the people would separate and some people would like be with other people, and then all of a sudden, you know, there was these moments where they'd look across the room at each other and one person would look at the other, you're batshit crazy. And they'd split off and one go this way and one go that way. Well, that's been going on a while. Think about it, guys. That's been going a while, hasn't it? So, and we've all felt it. So think about where that would be, where people start doing this and
Turning
going
on
and
each other.
well, it's not really turning on, it's more turning away from. You see what I mean? It's like I can't stand to be in this frequency anymore. I have to be over here, or I have to create my own, or I have to do my own thing and garden or whatever it may be. And you can tell yourself you're a little bit less hanging out with that, or you're not tolerant, you're not answering the phone, you're not answering the text, you're not injecting yourself into that because you just don't want to. It's like an intolerance of a frequency. Let's just put it that way. So if you look at different things that have gone on and you look at all these different prophecies, you'll see that's part of it. So that ought to tell you, and that's, I want you to look into that. I want you to consider that. Don't believe me. Just look around you and discern it for yourself. You're very sharp people. And I want you to think about every time that you feel like it's starting to spin. You just go, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm already halfway through this. I know what's going on. I'm way ahead of the game. I'm here to help you, because that's what gatekeepers and people that have gotten through the darkness try to do for people that are reaching out, that are just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to get out of here. And it's like that story we tell about the hole where Jim jumps in the hole. What are you doing, Jim? I've been here before. I know the way out. That's us. You know, but if you don't feel strong enough to do that, don't. Carry on and continue your wisdoms, because along the way, your place will become evident. Because we're all here for a reason. And you're probably doing it now. Whether it's creating a new homestead, creating a good, safe environment, or canning some extra stuff, or trying to help a neighbor, or trying to teach a kid, or trying to get somebody through and saying, look, wake up. You guys got this. You're light workers. You're light workers.
Something that you don't, and they've been through the darkness.
Yep.
So
Yep. And every single
out there, and maybe that you're not aware of something too, you know.
Absolutely. And that's the whole thing. Even if it's for encouragement or reaching out in a chat, you see somebody's having a bad night, and when they leave that chat, whether it's this one or another, and they feel better, is that not enough one spark of light that grows? Right? And you just send somebody off in a better mood. You never know what somebody's going through. Let alone what ghosts and everybody else are going through. This takes time and it takes sorting. And that's what, like, we're going to have to slow down a little bit and think back of how strong we really are. We're fragile and strong at the same time. You understand? But I'm talking to a bunch of warriors here. And this is how warriors are made. You didn't go through all that suffering y'all went through in your life and everything else and got through it for nothing.
People will smile at us, and well, at least they took the time to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The littlest thing. You don't know, opening that door for somebody, or even that good feeling that you get when, you know, like you wave somebody in traffic or something, you let them go and you get that smile, like they're genuinely, oh, thanks, man. You know, it's the ones, because the opposite is true. But the opposite is true. The ones that don't, and you go, son of a gun, just a wave or a thing, entitled, it can make you either way.
But
That's
then
the
a
way
mile up the
love
road, you're
is.
bypassing them. They're still sitting back there a mile later. Thanks, buddy. That could have been me if you'd look. Thanks. Fine. I'm glad I didn't get over there now. Thanks
It
for not
happens.
being kind.
All those little things happen, and I think those are the hardest things when you're in the car and you're trying not to get angry. I actually told my boss, I said, look, I'm the farthest corner away. I got my headphones on, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm researching, I'm listening to authors, I'm listening to audiobooks, I'm going all the time. I got to keep my mind, researching and stuff. And because I can't listen to this blather, because I don't want to be emotionally involved. I don't want to. I can't. I know who people are, and that's fine. They can be who they are, but they don't want the advice. They don't want to do anything about what they're going through. They just want to complain about it. It's like having a rash, but you don't want to put anything on it. You just want to itch and then bitch about the itch. And I just don't have it's like, look, I can tell you right now in 2 minutes how to get rid of that. I don't, nope. It doesn't, it's not that I don't want to say it's not worth your time. It's not worth my energy and my sanity, because you can feel the pull. It's like walking into a room of people, and when you leave, you feel completely drained and you don't know how that happened. Whether it's anxiety. Yeah. And it's been going on.
A weight on
just
you
stay.
too.
Yeah. And you just stay where you feel fulfilled. And the way we feel, light workers feel fulfilled, is by caring for others, by doing something for others, making other people smile and light up. We at this point, we know the ones they haven't hit bottom yet. You've tried, you got to let it go. Don't ruin yourself trying to save somebody else. Not everybody wants help, and not everybody's ready for it. Their consciousness isn't the same. What they understand and what their discernment is like right now, it's not the same. It's a different consciousness. It doesn't mean you're better. Doesn't mean it's just you're sorting things different. You see things differently, because a lot of people are walking around in a fog. Wouldn't you say, Katt? Mm-hmm. A fog, or for lack of a better word.
How strongly do you believe in curses? Not like maybe people think they're cursed or something. The reason I'm asking,
I believe in curses. Trust me on that. I mean, they have less power if you don't believe in it, but I'll tell you what, I've seen curses work on people that had no idea one way or the other. So, you know what I mean?
The event that happened, I forgot to tell it earlier.
Go
when
ahead.
I was a child, my mother told me not to be playing on a certain headstone. Oh, I'm fine, Mom, I'm fine. Crash, boom, I go to the ER. I have to wear a thing on my leg forever. Didn't want to heal.
Oh, wow.
And I've always said I feel like I'm cursed. As an adult, not merely, 2-3 years ago, my mother informed me that I was playing on a murderer's headstone. I know the guy's name. He murdered somebody at a church, of all places. So I don't know how to take this, but you feel like your wheels are just constantly just spinning and you're just stuck in neutral. So, what do you say to that?
Well, I'd say that from what I can feel, a simple thing of you taking control of you and your power and knowing your light, anything that's on you would be pushed off. So you just do that. So this is my suggestion. This is my suggestion. This is what I'm getting. So I'm going to give it to you the way I'm getting it. Salt bath. And in your case, I would suggest you do something to occupy the mind at the same time. So I would have something playing, don't plug in a radio and put it on the edge of the tub. I'm not saying that. I'm saying turn on something, like a mystery or something like that. Not so much a movie, but something to listen to with your eyes closed. An audio book, but it's got to be a mystery or something like that. That's what they're telling me. Because
I don't think of that all the time. It's just that it does pop in my head like, oh.
No, this is what you need to do. You have to do a physical thing to take this off because it's already a part of your mind. So as you're doing this bath, you're going to listen to something like a mystery, white candles, whatever. As you light them, it's like this, When you go in that tub and you physically imagine every, do the white light through the crown chakra all the way through the body, just run a physical light in your mind through your entire body. When you get out of that tub, watch the water go down the drain. And as it's going down the drain, do this. Say bye-bye to all negativity in my life. This is the rest of my life. You have to physically do that. There's something else. It's not what you're thinking, but there's something else there that was a connection that you have to let go. You don't have to say it now. They know. Your spirit guide knows. So what you want to do is you watch the water go down the drain and then you speak of it no more. Because that what people do is you could have a seed of doubt in your mind and you'll work on that.
Yeah.
You have to physically say bye-bye to watch that water go, because that's all the negativity in that water. And put a salt bath. So Epsom salts, you can add essential oils that you like. Peppermint's very cleansing and things like that. But I would add something like rose or lavender, French lavender, and just really take that off, because it's not so much of, you're not cursed. Nothing like
You
that.
think maybe there's something else from the maybe I'm projecting it and placing blame on. Okay.
It's a heavy, but it's not an evil heavy. It's more of a, you're doing it to yourself. You're thinking. That's why they want you. This is why they want you to listen to a mystery or something like a CBS mystery or something like that. That's what they're showing me, probably because I understand that. But they want a certain part of your brain occupied, and that'll do the trick. So it's not music, or it's not what you want to listen to. It's what they're telling you to listen to, because there's a reason for it. Something in your brain. They want that part of your brain occupied. And then while you're taking the bath, you're thinking about, say great affirmations, like do something positive, like while you're listening to the mystery, just name off things that you're grateful for. I don't care if it's a car or your curtains or a puppy or a pet, or you know what I mean? Just name things off, like a counting your blessings kind of thing they're showing me. They want you to affirm, because for some reason you need more of that. That's live. That's what they're telling me. So salt bath, listen to a mystery, watch the stuff go down the drain, affirmations of blessings, and when it goes down the drain, goodbye, done. Don't look back.
I never
You
thought
got
to
it?
ask you now. Yeah. I mean, I could have. See, we're doing some good here.
There you go.
Hopefully it helps somebody else.
And that works for everybody. You
Maybe
can do
don't
that
do
too, and you can add your own stuff into it, because you have to do physical acts. Ritual means something, whether it's
Something that we can relate to ourselves.
ritual. Yes, yourself. Add to what you want, because again, I would do something if you're a person who, say, you're more visual and you would have to look at something to shut off that part of your brain. They don't want you sorting out, anything that means anything personal to you. They want your brain occupied
Read a book.
on
Like
something else, because while you're taking that bath, it's like your soul starts to breathe and everything starts to recharge, because you're doing something that kicks that adrenaline, because you're interested in it, So whether it's a Sherlock Holmes mystery or something, it has to be something, your puzzle trivia, if that's your thing, and it's something that's repetitive and it's going to keep it rolling and keep you occupied. Or
crossword.
Yeah. But a lot of people have to do that the same way some people will have to like scribble to be able to listen to what you're saying and retain information. It's all, I'm no neurologist, but that's what they're showing me.
Have
Look,
you
they're
ever
smarter
done a
than I
show
am.
on automatic writing? That's kind of
Sorry?
good. I like reincarnation stories. Automatic writing, where they say that a ghost is leading their hand.
Been there, done
Sometimes-
that. I'm pretty darn sure that happened to me during Cabin 22. Yeah. I could literally see Skeet, and he was laying a couple of times. I would look, I'm like,
They are so, they're
he's
they
laying
untold.
down like he would be in a slab in a jail cell, in a county jail, like that kind of level of like a just plain, like he's laying on a shelf is how I kept seeing him. I mean, I'm telling you, somebody wanted some story told, and I don't know how it came together. I lost time doing that thing. It's true. Now that's not automatic writing.
Yeah, I
It's a
seen
different
about
kind.
it on here. Like, have you ever just these things just come to you and you don't know where or how they came to just you don't know why or how.
Yes,
I was that
all
came out
all
of
my damn
you,
life, Kat. Yes.
but
Absolutely.
remember
All right,
asking
tell about your channel and everything else. We got to get out of here. It's been great. We had fun. I told you we're just going to do a little laid back thing and visit, and I think
we
it went
both got
well.
some good Billies
Things
in
need
us
to be
that
said. And I want to reiterate one more time: if you are someone who is a fan of the Art Bell Malachi Martin tapes, and you know about the Miracle of Fatima, or if you're just into prophecy, and or you just think something's going on and you want as much information as you could possibly get so you can sort it yourself, I urge you to join me. And I also would like information. Send it to journeythroughthegate@gmail.com. What's your thoughts on it? And do you know about it? Because if it is one of your things and you do know about it, you might be part of the episodes or whatever. So, and help me research, because we're going to dig this one open, and then I'm going to get Bill Bean and a couple of other very wise elders in here to talk a little bit about it. But again, most of that, if it starts to get hot, which I have no doubt it will, because it's getting hot, we're going to have to move over to Rumble, and I'd love for you to join me there.
I can't help
Because
but
like I
think
said,
that it's called something like they would get like the marks on their hands and they bleed on their hand. What is that that you call that? I can't
stigmata,
think of
a stigmata.
stigmata. Ah, that's it. I
Stigmata.
could not think of that.
That's
Yeah.
what that is. Padre Pio. I mean, there was a lot of different ones. And again, that brings up things. Oh, why is it in the palms? And we know it had to be in the wrist and all that. Here's the thing. You dig this any way you want. I'm going to give the information, and we're going to have to sort it. But I think we need to do it just like we do everything else with the paranormal. Because remember my dream. If everybody could just get in a room and go and investigate a house, and then go into the room and say, this is what we got. And instead of arguing at the differences, look at it differently and see how everybody's got a little piece of the puzzle, and it tells a story. And if we stop arguing and thinking about how different everything is, and how instead think about how much is in common with each individual fact of these things, we can sort stuff out, like JFK, assassination, everything else, instead of arguing about there's no way this could happen. Look, you're gonna be hard pressed to convince me to change my mind on any of this stuff, because I have been researching. You might have a little this here, and I'm like, okay, that fits too, because that fits up with this timeline, fits right in here. There's plenty of that going on, and I can look at somebody and go, honey, that's complete and total bullshit from left field, matches nothing. I don't care what video you saw, because we have 3-letter agencies that are making video productions that you're watching at the movie theater. So of course it's going to be good. It's going to be very thorough, and it's going to be extremely convincing. They've been doing it for decades. You have to discern what makes sense, who had the power to do this. Don't let them lie to you, and what's going on, and how do we get through it? Not just get through it, thrive through it, come out on the other end, so we can help all the people who are barely getting through it, because we will prevail. Plain and simple. Light wins. There's no question. It's the journey that we can make so much easier for each other just by putting the information out there. We don't have to agree. We just have to all be aware of the information that's out there, because we might not be ready to fully understand it until a mile down the road. So you got to just put it in your pocket and hang on to it. Sound good? Are you in? You in with me, Kat? Now, how can we get a hold of you? Tell us about the channel and where it is, and we're going to get on out of here.
I do have some photos now for the video, and I had to elicit some help from Steve Stockton, and bingo.
Oh, you got it?
One picture.
Did you? You got one picture? Where is it?
It's the picture. Well, I sent you the ones I do have. At the time, I had one,
All right.
And
Well, I'll tell you what. It's getting really late. Why don't we do this again, and we can do the whole show around that now that we've got all the pictures and stuff together? Because I don't want you
Yeah,
to rush through
okay,
these
good. Because
stories.
I was wanting to get the video done first before I gave all the details out anyway.
That's
But
fine. I don't want to rush you. We did this last minute, so let's do that and let all your stories breathe and everything. We'll get the pictures. We'll get them together, and we'll do this again. This went perfect, I think, the way it needed to, because we got information out I think need to be heard right now. Plus we got to see some great ghost videos and a great ghost story. I mean, again, if you're in a haunted house, folks, please don't just accept it and say, it's okay for me to be in here with this energy, because
there's options. Just ask
you don't
around.
know.
There's things that you don't even know about.
You don't know what's going on or what it's not good for you, and it's not good for them. As in my opinion, you got to sort your own thing, but I don't recommend it. So, Kat, this has been great, sweetheart.
Right now,
huh?
But my channel may be a little hard to find right now because there's not a lot of content on it. But if you use the @GhostLoreYT,
it helps.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll see it's a little round, neon, mint green, and purple circle, and it says Ghost Lore in the middle.
Does anybody have a link we can throw it up here? We'll put it up during the outgoing song too, if you come across it. And there you go. D-Rock's loving it. Everybody's loving it. We had a good time, and that's like I said. It's going to go the way it goes. Sometimes with everything going on.
The Messenger, where a link I sent you a link to it. It's got the image of it on there.
All right, let's see if I can pull that up.
It may still be in there.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I saw it today.
Oh.
Anyway, I just like the colors. I mean, it's kind of like the colors of Canva, but that's the colors I wanted anyway. So I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, yes, pretty colors of the purple and the thing. I just saw. I'm trying to grab it. Here we go. Let's see if I can.
See, there's a game or something called Ghost Lore too. But see, I looked into the channel. Mine's the one that's spelled correctly for like a meaning, a definition. Ghost lore, like folklore. Ghost lore is 2 words, and it covers a lot of the aspects of,
There you go.
A lot of things paranormal and stuff.
Isn't that pretty? I love the teal and the purple. It's gorgeous. So get over there and sub to her channel. She's going to get more videos up here, and we're going to have her on again, and she's going to tell some more stories. And I think tonight went lovely. We had a good time. Y'all have a good time? D-Rock had a good time. Jim's giving us a thumbs up. Frozen Moments throwing bacon at us. Vixen says good night, Journey. And Kat, thank you so much. Great show as always. See, they're having a good time. All right, sweetie, get over there and sub if you haven't. Get over there and sub to Scott's channel. He's doing great things over there. Hey, you know what? Everybody's doing something, and you love to see it. If you've got, crafting, if you've got ghost stories to tell, if whatever it may be, how to fix some cars, how to fix an old car, how to, maybe filter water, or how to do this, or how to can, chili
frame a
or
window.
Do it. Put it out there, because here's the deal. If you don't put it out there, you don't pass it on, it goes with you. And look at how hard you work to get where you are now, to gain this kind of wisdom.
There's somebody else out there that's going to have the same life as you do. So
you got to share it out there, man.
Stories and sharing the stories. But now the video, a little, I've done put the short out there, but the video is about the first and only case about a ghost testimony being told in a court of law.
Oh, isn't that great? Love it. Love it. Keep doing it, girl. Proud of you. Everybody, look, it starts with one video, and before you know it, you've been yammering for years on the inner tubes, and I still don't know what I said all that time. But there you go.
I've been on the 5th or 6th one by now. It's full detail. I don't think there's a detail out there that I've missed. Now, I may leave some stuff out because I don't want it too wordy, word salad or whatever. But yeah.
Oh, I'm fluent in word salad, sweetheart.
It's got all the people. I did it justice.
All right, listen. I got to get out of here. I love y'all. We'll be here tomorrow night with Steve Stockton. I have no idea what we'll talk about tomorrow night, but I'll tell you what. It could be anything. I love y'all. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for being with me in other chats and being in the chat jar.
Like it. Please hit like.
hit like on the way out. And thanks for being such a great mod, Kat, and for sharing, the shows out there. It really helps. It really pays off. I mean, you get all these analytics.
Kindness of my heart, because I just want to,
You want to help.
get you
And
out
see, that's
there
it. Everybody's finding a way to reach out. And, you guys are reaching out just being in this chat. Every time I have a guest on, I hear great things about how wonderful the chat is, the great energy.
Everybody has
Every
so
once
much
in a while, we get somebody else to come in and it's great. And then we get somebody come in, we go, they ain't gonna stay because they're getting triggered or they're taking things wrong. And don't feel bad about them. They came in, they got a taste of it. The light was a little too bright. They had to go. They could be back. That's why I tell them they're welcome anytime because they usually come back. I love y'all. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you
See you
for having
tomorrow
me.
night.